Whoever got next, fine with us. Line up. I said, it's fine with us. Come on, line them up. Fine with us. Go and line them up. Yeah, it's fine with us. I said, whoever got next, fine with us.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sydney. This is Race of Champions. Tonight, we continue the running of this incredible event. And for the first time ever, we are crowning a champion in Australia. Sydney has given us the warmest welcome, and now the sun is ever lower in the sky. After traveling all over the world, racing in every single corner, we're competing in the Southern Hemisphere for the very first time. Across 8 days, the track has been laid. Where once you would see rugby action, now it's a motorsport arena. The Nations Cup was spectacular last night. Tonight is all about individual glory, every driver for themselves, as we seek a champion of champions. It is epic motorsport action, world-class drivers, and amazing stadiums. That is exactly what the Race of Champions is. And in 2025, the annual event enters its 33rd round for the very first time, racing in the Southern Hemisphere, down under. We have 20 superstars from the most important disciplines in all of motorsport battling it out to prove that they have what it takes to be crowned champion of champions. Unlike the Rock Nations Cup, this is all about individual glory. Here's how it works in the group stage. The motorsport aces are divided into off-road legends and circuit racers. They'll swap cars between heats, and only the most successful will advance to the quarterfinals. From here, it is a best of three. In the case of a 1-1 tie, we will have a third race to decide who progresses. The main goal for all of them, the grand final and that trophy. The first driver to win 2 heats in the final is crowned champion of champions in 2025. Rock has been held since 1988. Over 200 different drivers have competed at this spectacular and unique contest. Rally aces Didier Auriol, Sebastian Loeb, and the reigning champion Matthias Ekstrom are the record champions. All three have won this competition 4 times so far. But Sebastian Loeb is the only one of them who returns tonight. If he wins again, the Frenchman could be crowned the sole record champion. And last night, he was helping take France to the team's title for the first time since 2004. Who will take the Race of Champions in Australia? The battle starts now. It is going to be a great event. Victor Martins being introduced to the crowd. He was one of the outstanding drivers that we saw last night. Petter Solberg hoping for better. Toby Price, a winner in one of the events yesterday. And David Coulthard, 13-time Grand Prix winner. He is hoping to get up and running and do what Heikki Kovalainen did yesterday and take a win. We're also looking forward to seeing what Molly Taylor can do. And that is the driver trying to take the all-time record tonight. Sebastian Loeb going for that win. He won't be the only one. How cool was Brody yesterday? And what a role we had for Valtteri Bottas around this stadium. What a story it is for Michael Romanides. The Greek racer has won the E-Rock competition. And Travis Pastrana, he just does things differently. Mick Schumacher has been all smiles. Louis Sharp, our youngest racer in the field. And a wonderful ovation for Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time champion of the world, wants his hands back on that trophy. He's a one-time winner. He won it back in London in another Olympic stadium in 2015. You are looking at the class of 2025, and a wonderful message before we get going. Keep fighting, Michael, a wonderful competitor, of course, 7-time Formula One world champion, but also an amazing pedigree, lifting trophies when we have the contest so many times through the years. What a shot, what a sight. Let's take you through the competition bracket then. We have two seeded drivers, Sebastian Loeb and Mick Schumacher. Loeb getting the bye because he is the most successful driver, and Mateusz Ekstrom is not competing, so he takes his place. And Mick Schumacher finding himself having done really well in the tarmac section last time out. The runner-up finds himself with the bye. The rest of them, as you would have seen on the left-hand side, divided into groups. And Group A is looking tasty. Kristoffersen, Taylor, and that is going to be our first matchup as well as we go racing. In the commentary box, I'm Alex Jakes, delighted to be alongside Neil Cole once again. This is going to be so interesting. Every driver for themselves.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I waited 2 years for this. It's very exciting, and what a matchup. Former teammates in Extreme E, now rivals on track. Molly Taylor versus Johan Kristoffersen.
Let's go racing. It's the first one of the evening, and we're heading down to turn number 1. You can see Kristoffersen on the inside line. Check out the flags for each driver's nationality to give you an idea of who's in what. I tell you what, it's a bit of a clobber down past the chicane.
The sub guard there.
So this is to take the first heat, to take the first race. You've got the outer lane, you've got the inner lane. One slightly longer, one slightly shorter, an offset of 16 meters between the two. And Molly Taylor trying to fight back, trying to find a way through. You can see the gap there across the line. 1.1 back,
still
not
close
a problem.
then. Yeah, 1.1 is the natural split on equal times. So Molly's still got a chance.
So Molly Taylor will love to try and get one over her former teammate in Extreme E. It's going to be super close in this opening contest. Who's going to get there? This is going to be so tight, and it's Taylor! What a start we've had again! She will love that moment. Molly Taylor's won it by 0.04 of a second.
I think she was pushed along by the Aussie crowd there, here at the Accor Stadium. It's an amazing little bit of, I don't know, the rivalry between the two of them, and Molly comes out on top, which is no mean feat. You know, Johan Kristoffersen is pretty much a weapon in anything he drives. So that's a great scout for Molly. And in these Subaru BRZ TSs, which are the quietest cars to start things off, the cars will get louder progressively, but these are basically slightly racified road cars that they're racing in. So hugely impressive start from Molly Taylor. Look at that.
Across the line, that is the side of 0.04 of a second, and that is the side of Molly Taylor celebrating. Didn't get the win yesterday in any of her races, puts it right immediately today. And the action is going to come thick and fast. So Molly Taylor in Group A. Also in Group A, we have Michael Romanides as well. He is the driver who made it through from the E-Rock competition. Travis Pastrana, Heikki Kovalainen is our next contest as well. And then we also have in this group Oliver Solberg.
So these are the rallycross car, supercar lights. And of course, Heikki's in the off-road because he does a lot of rallying these days.
Yeah, he has switched competitions. Let's see whether he can take the advantage against Travis Pastrana. Underway for race 2. We have moved to Group B. So we've gone from Group A to Group B, which is not the same as what we had. Oh, clobbering of the inside Apex Tech Pro there for Kovalainen. And he's only allowed to hit the barrier one more time. If he hits the barrier again, would be a 5-second penalty. So it looks like a good advantage at this stage of proceedings for Travis Pastrana.
I mean, he launched the supercar light off the line and took a big advantage at the start, and he seems to have pounded that advantage, and he converted to a win.
Oh, he gets rid of the Apex Tech Pro, though, and Kovalainen come roaring back. Heikki trying to take it away, and he does so! On the line, another barnstormer. Kovalainen takes the flag, and the crowd are being royally entertained at the start of this one. Kovalainen gets the win in the end, 10th and a half, and he made it all up at the end.
So I love this because the styles between the two drivers are very different. Travis is wild. You know, he's used to traveling stadia around the world performing with Nitro Circus, so he's no stranger to delivering in front of crowds, attempting a ditch hook there, but that's what the barriers are for. But Heikki's very good, especially on the Super Specials when he does the Japanese Rally Championship, which is a format very similar to this. So he's clearly been getting some practice in and handing one to Travis Pastrana there. Amazing.
He would be so satisfied to pull that off immediately. A big moment of reward for him.
And it's great to see Heikki back to full strength after his medical situation last year, so we send him a lot of love.
Absolutely wonderful to see him competing. Solberg, Price and Padden is Group C. So much talent everywhere you look. And Solberg looking to bounce back after the disappointment of yesterday. He wasn't happy to be seeded, is the short version of things, but he's had some practice time today, and he will hope that he's got a route through. And the first contest would be a fine way. Wonderful shot of Accor Stadium, wonderful shot of our next contest. And great to see Toby Price. He's had a smile on his face all the way through.
I mean, he's
this week.
I think he's a New South Wales resident. He's moved into trophy trucks, but of course, an absolute Dakar legend on two wheels, and then this year competed with Sam Sunderland in a car for the first time, looking to make that transition like Stefan Petterhansel and Nani Roma have done in the past from 2 to 4, and now here he is trying to translate the dune skills into tarmac skills.
Easier said than done, but he looked very, very comfortable last night in the Nations Cup. This time, it's every driver for themselves. This time, the LED ball goes red. Now it goes green. Now we go racing. And we have Solberg versus Price, the World Rally Champion of 2003, up against Toby Price. And we'll see. So now we've got rid of the chicane on the bridge, and that's going to be the case for the Polaris and the Rally Spec cars. It won't be the case for the Subaru and the Toyota that you'll see out on the circuit.
Looks like a big advantage at the moment for Rally and Rallycross legend Petter Solberg, leaving Toby Price in his no dust.
Yeah, these things have seen plenty of sand dunes, but on the asphalt, very grippy by the feedback of the drivers. Wonderful precision from Solberg coming out of the bridge section. What can Toby Price do in the final corners? He's got the longer loop. I think this one is heading the direction of Solberg, but can there be a massive finish at the end there? Oh, it was a great final stint, but Solberg takes it. There was a good second part of the lap for Price, but just not enough. And Solberg up and running in this year's Race of Champions.
And that'll be a huge relief to Petter, because yesterday he was disappointed not to get more running with competing for Team Norway with his son Oliver Solberg. And these Polaris Pro Rs, in fact, you know, much like Toby, they're very suited to the Baja 1000, the Dakar Rally, the King of the Hammers, and something that, you know, I'm sure Petter himself has a few UTVs in his stable back in Sweden where he lives. So yeah, it'll be a relief for Petter to get one win under his belt so early on in the competition.
Yeah, largest winning margin of the evening so far. So we've seen Taylor, Kovalainen and Solberg. That's Petter Solberg. His son Oliver is in the contest as well, and he was taking the win by 0.4 of a second. We've had our first races, plenty more still to come at Accor Stadium as we look to crown a champion of champions. Cheerleaders doing their stuff. We're going to have more races in a few moments' time, and that will kick off with Michael Romanides, formerly of the Formula One esports season. Okay, let's hear now from Molly Taylor after her victory. She's speaking to Rosanna Tennant.
Molly, huge congratulations. You took the first win of the night, but I imagine it's even sweeter because it was against your former teammate, Johan Kristoffersen in Extreme E.
Yeah, amazing way to start the night. There was a fair bit of banter before we went out. Obviously, we've raced together as teammates in Extreme E, so yeah, we were definitely giving each other a bit of banter before we headed out, but like, yeah, to be honest, I just wanted to be close to Johan, so to be able to come around. I saw we were really close on the last corner, and I almost hit the wall coming around the final corner because I just gave it everything, and yeah, still can't quite believe we pulled it off. So yeah, really excited to start the night like that in front of an amazing home crowd.
400 separating you two around this tight and twisty track, but what an amazing event you are having here, and the crowd absolutely loving it. Of course, born and raised in Sydney, so special for you to do it in front of the home crowd.
Oh, it's so special for motorsport, and for me personally as well, to bring this an event as iconic as this to Australia, to be even invited to take part, and then kind of exceed my expectations. So we'll keep our head down and keep trying to drive as fast as we can, but honestly just trying to savor every moment of this whole experience, because it's absolutely wild.
And of course, so many more races coming up. Yesterday you got a feel for things. How far do you think you can go in the competition? Because Team Australia Supercars did pretty well. You guys need to bring the off-road to the podium, surely.
Yeah, look, we're coming from left of field, definitely coming in here a bit of a fish out of water, but yeah, just stayed in my bubble, and whatever car we get behind, just trying to give that everything I have, and if that's good enough, it's good enough. But in any case, we're learning so much, having fun, and huge thanks to the crowd for being right behind us. It really helps.
Good luck. Let's see if you can be the champion of champions, Molly.
And we'll give it a crack. Thank you.
Rosanna Tennant in conversation with local hero Molly Taylor, who has one of the 3 race wins that we've had so far tonight. She took the first one, Heikki Kovalainen took the second, and Petter Solberg took the third. And it was in the Subaru that she triumphed. We've got 6 different cars racing out here tonight.
And she got to grips with that Subaru pretty quick. She was the first and still only female Australian rally champion. She was the youngest ever Australian rally champion. She's done the Dakar in side-by-sides UTV, so if she does get in a Polaris during the course of this competition, she'll probably feel very comfortable in that. But yeah, she's a very talented pedaler.
Conversation with Petter Solberg there. The camaraderie between the drivers, such a key element of what makes the Race of Champions so special.
They bond really quickly, and this is the car changing area, so we'll see a lot of shots in here, and they have to wait there for their races, is where they get in and out of the cars. As you can see, that incredible sort of helmet shelf. It's got some of the most expensive melon protectors, brain buckets up there you could imagine. So yeah, that's where the bonhomie and the camaraderie all kind of centers until things get serious.
We are racing once again in Sydney, Australia. This is Accor Stadium. This is the evening to crown a champion of champions. So many different drivers from different disciplines. We've got Formula One stars, we've got Rallycross stars, we've got World Rally stars, we've got NASCAR stars. We've got so much to
And what a
enjoy.
field of play to do it on. This
Yes.
place is so storied. 25 years ago, the Sydney Olympics, and then so many sporting events since then, but it's the first time it's ever been laid with tarmac to be a racetrack.
So you're looking at the E-Rock competition, and this was a really clever initiative, been going for a few years now. So it was races in the sim, it was open to everyone on Earth to enter. We whittled it down to 4. The competition included a real world race with a buggy on the circuit, and then that was assessed. So they did one on the previous evening, then they did one as part of the event with sim racing as well. And coming out on top as the winner, he'd been a runner-up before, Michael Romanides, formerly of the F1 Esports Championship with Williams, now in real life on the start line up against Johan Kristoffersson with the chance of a lifetime to make his name. He's out there and he is racing Kristoffersson around the outside. But what an experience this is for Michael Romanides.
I mean, unbelievable, really. With sim racing, so many people enter at home. All you have to do is download the track on Assetto Corsa, then everyone can enter, and he's come out top of the tree, and he gets to race against the GOAT of Rallycross, Johan Kristoffersson, in the Accor Stadium in Sydney. It is the stuff of dreams, and he's holding on there.
It's a good opening lap. Look, we've seen some amazing results. If you're thinking, oh, they're going to have no opportunity here, they're going to have no chance, we have seen Lucas Blakely, who's won this competition in the past, beat Sebastian Vettel. So shocks are possible. Can Kristoffersson use all of that incredible experience in the final corners? Looks like it's gone very well for him, and all of that experience does tell. He comes out of the final corner to take a commanding win, but you have to applaud Michael Romanides for keeping it so close if you consider that he's not had many laps around the track from the sim rig, and only 2.6 seconds behind. A great effort, but it's Kristoffersson who takes the win.
So the great thing about E-Rock, we've been doing it, I think, since Riyadh in 2018, is that sometimes the sim racers themselves, who are supremely talented drivers, have not actually passed their driving test or even driven a car before. So there is a risk when they get to yesterday, when they have to actually compete and set their real track lap times to get through to tonight, potentially, that some of them have to have it explained to them how the accelerator works for real, because they've only ever done it in the sim. Not true, of course, for Michael Romanides, but on this occasion, the many, many thousands of laps and many trophies that Johan Kristoffersson has won paid off.
It did indeed. Molly Taylor and one of the stars of the show, Victor by name, Victor by nature, last night alongside Sebastian Loeb, who's been given a bye into the quarterfinals thanks to his all-round performance across the years. He's a 4-time champion in the Race of Champions. And here's the Group A results then. We have Molly Taylor with 1 win from 1 race. Kristoffersson's had 2 wins, and Molly faster so far. Michael Romanides getting to be part of this incredible field and losing out by 2 seconds in the last event. We move on to Oliver Solberg up against Travis Pastrana. Travis Pastrana looking at his 2nd race in Group B. He lost his first to Heikki Kovalainen. It's Solberg tonight, switching his allegiance from Norway to Sweden up against the American All-Star, Travis Pastrana, who desperately needs a win.
Yeah, he does. Oliver Solberg.
Here comes the green light. And here comes the action. So this is going to be aggressive. We've got the supercar lights out on the circuit. 0 to 100 kph in 3.5 seconds.
So keep your eyes on the bridge, because with these cars you will see them get some air, especially maybe from the car that is trailing and has to take the bridge in their 2nd lap, because they will be pushing and you can take it flat out. So we may see some air from Travis, because he's got quite a big gap up ahead to Oliver Solberg. Solberg going under the bridge. Let's watch Travis fly.
Stand back. Yeah, nice, nice. A little bit of air. Not the Victor Martin scale that we saw last night, where he nearly joined us in the commentary box. It's going to be tight. Solberg in the white car. Pastrana going all in. Wonderful scenes. That's wild stuff. But it's Solberg who takes the victory. And Pastrana again with the entertainment, but not quite enough to take the win. Solberg winning by just over a second.
Yeah, so that's, I think that means we see Travis Pastrana make an early exit, and he doesn't look hugely happy about that, but he was wild out there. You could see through that final sector, yesterday we saw him go into that barrier in the little kink in the final straight, the penultimate straight, and he didn't quite hit the barrier this time, but he was certainly pushing to try and make up lost ground. But can't underestimate the talent of Oliver Solberg, who's, you know, been peddling things with engines in them since he could walk.
Incredible, incredible dynasty that he is part of.
That sideways, that's the barrier that he hit yesterday, but the Scandi flick was perfectly timed this time.
What an experience for the passenger alongside. That is wonderful.
See, he knows there's a gap there. That's the slip road into the circuit, so he can just use a little bit of extra width of track to make sure he gets the back end out. On these Rallycross supercar lights, 4-wheel drive, very, very light, very powerful, with a very special way to launch the car. You'll see them hold the bar, handbrake on, full revs, and then four-wheel spin off the line.
So we continue on. It's a shot of the bridge, and you can see the chicane has been moved back. Hayden Paddon versus Petter Solberg is a contest we are looking forward to. Hayden Paddon in his first ever Race of Champions, and going up against a World Rally champion who got up and running and got the win. They're going to bring the Polarises to the line now. And the final burnout.
And you can see how much they lurch. They
Yes.
the suspension is so high, and these have got 20, I think it's 20-inch rims, and they normally have 30-inch rims. So the wheels look smaller than they would when these are, you know, rock crawling and flying across the dunes of the deserts. But they're a very powerful piece of kit.
Paddon on the left, Solberg on the right. Game on. Let's see who's going to come out on top. These rally stars on the tarmac surface. Nice up-mounter there. Liking that from Paddon.
So Hayden Paddon is the first non-European to win the European Rally Championship, and then he went and did it again. So he has got a lot of miles left in him, having been rallying for a couple of decades now.
Absolutely superb first half of the lap. The entire course is defined as a lap. Super stuff. And over the curve we go. Solberg trying to get himself back into the contest. And the Tech Pro nudged out of the way. A lot of wheel spin. Solberg's had a really good run here, but he's got the longer route to take. Across the line we go. Hayden Paddon to the line. Hayden Paddon to the win. Great contest between the two of them. Ebbed and flowed. But Paddon got a good amount of air over the bridge, and he takes the win, acknowledges the crowd, and there was plenty of support, especially from that lot. They're delighted the Kiwi has managed to take the checkered flag and score a victory up against the experienced champion, Petter Solberg.
Yeah, I mean, Petter's got one win in the bag already, so he's still got a chance, but I think he'll obviously have to win his next matchup, which is against Heikki Kovalainen. And I think, you know, he's got the chops from when he won Nations Cup twice on the snow and ice. And of course, two-time World Rallycross champion, one-time World Rally champion, I think they're still the only person to win World Championships across two different FIA disciplines. So he would be looking to go further in this competition today, and his only obstacle up against him will be Heikki Kovalainen. But a great result for Hayden Paddon, you can see there. All the people working very hard down in the paddock area to get these cars prepped and equal. It's really important all the cars are equal for all the drivers when they go out. All the temperatures right, the brake temperatures, the tire temperatures, everything has to be just right, set up just so it's equal racing.
Plenty of great action, and Terry Grant is providing it when we're not having the races in the group stage. We're absolutely hammering through the group stage. And worth underlining, the winner of each group qualifies for the quarterfinals. We have Loeb seeded, we have Mick Schumacher seeded, and that is the nature of things. We've had some close contests so far, including our opening race of the evening, which was separated by just 400ths across the line.
The stunts that we're watching, I mean, they make it look so easy.
Yes.
You know, you would never want to actually try that, because you'd learn very quickly that it's not as easy as it looks. But as Terry takes the drift car around the track, it's worth noting just how intrinsic Terry is to the Race of Champions. He's been part of the Race of Champions family for many years. He's won countless Guinness World Records and massive stunts, but thanks, Terry, for everything you do.
Okay, let's go downstairs to Rosanna, speaking to Travis Pastrana.
Travis, you were putting on a show for the people in the stands this evening. So great to see, so close to the wall.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't spun in a long time, and it goes. Conditions change out there. It's slick and then not slick, but I tell you what, I knew I had a really tough bracket. I had a great run against Kovalainen. I really thought I had something for him there, but unfortunately not. And then obviously way too sideways against Oliver. When you start getting behind, I start just compounding those mistakes. So I just want to thank Frederick and everyone at Race of Champions for an amazing event. It's such an honor to be able to race these guys, but extremely disappointing to be out so quick. And hopefully one of these guys in my heat, either Kovalainen or Solberg, whoever wins out of this, goes and wins the whole thing. Makes me feel a little better about it.
Out quickly, but going so quickly as well. Your times were fantastic.
Just another 10th here and another 10th there, but no, that's what everybody out here is absolutely amazing. And it's wild to see how close the field is, and no one really makes mistakes. So it's always challenging. Definitely was hoping for more this weekend, but hopefully Team USA with Kurt Busch can pick up where I didn't.
I saw you analysing a few things with, of course, your teammate Kurt Busch and also with Petter Solberg. Who do you think will be the champion of champions tonight?
I'm going to go on a whim. I'm going to say Oliver Solberg. It really depends on the cars that they get down the stretch. You know, someone like Loeb, or I mean, even the supercar drivers yesterday were extremely impressive. They could jump in pretty much everything. So it's always tough to know. But Oliver, on the vehicles that he's quick in, it's going to be very tough to beat. But I mean, Kovalainen, he's flying out there too.
Great to have you here, Rock.
Thanks. Good to be here. I'll go watch now. See ya.
Wow, so big up Oliver Solberg there from someone who is basically one of his heroes, up there with his own father, Petter Solberg, as one of Oliver Solberg's heroes, giving him the shout to be the champion of champions.
Always great for your peers to vacuum. We are gearing up for another contest. This one is going to be Molly Taylor with one win under her belt already, up against Michael Romanides, the winner of the E-Rock competition. He triumphed in that contest on the sim rig and a couple of real-life laps as well. Won him a place amongst our 20 drivers vying to be the champion of champions. Taylor on the left, Romanides on the right. And it begins again now with the green light, and Taylor with the great getaway, the home hero, making the point in the press conference earlier in the week that it's the other cities. Oh, big clobber of the barrier there. And what's the judgment going to be? That has been controversial, certainly last night.
Yeah, so I think Molly may have not clocked the fact that the barriers were going to be up there in these very quiet Subaru boxer-engined road cars. She is, of course, already through, so she doesn't really have anything to lose here apart from, you know, pride and the chance of a clean sweep of wins against Romanides. But yeah, we'll see what the stewards think about whether that was a kiss or a hefty touch on that barrier on the chicane.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see, to set the precedent for the rest of the night.
Exactly, you know.
And well, the final quarter we come, and Molly Taylor is going to take another victory. They're cheering her across the line. Molly Taylor takes the checkered flag. And Michael Romanides comes across the line. Molly Taylor, listen to this. Great reaction from the crowd.
Local hero getting a very warm response from the crowd here in Sydney. And kudos to Michael Romanides just to, you know, hold his end up under such incredible competition, incredible company.
Yeah, wonderful experience, and having been runner-up in the E-Rock competition in the past and getting so close to competing.
So in the driver's briefing, there was a lot of debate as to what constitutes a kiss. There's even painted lines on the bridge. If it goes further than this, will it get a penalty? So we'll see. It'll almost be irrelevant, but you're absolutely right. It sets the precedent for the rest of the evening. So let's see if there's any kind of penalty for Molly. She looks like she's heading to the headmaster's office to find out, but she is through already. So no harm done on the scoreboard.
She did get a 2-second penalty for that, so that sets the precedent for the rest of the evening, but she still won the contest even with the penalty applied, which means 2 races, 2 wins. And then you have Johan Kristoffersen with the 2 races and the 1 win, and Michael Romanides has fought brilliantly to get into the competition, and he can forever say he is part of the Race of Champions.
He'll go straight back on the sim again now, I expect.
And upload every photo he can find.
I saw earlier he was taking selfies with all the drivers.
And you would.
Adorable.
Heikki Kovalainen against Oliver Solberg. Yes, please. This is going to be a fantastic contest. Kovalainen looked really, really strong yesterday in the Nations Cup, but didn't have that much of an opportunity to progress. They were eliminated early on, along with Team GB.
This is to top the group.
And this is a big one. Kovalainen on the left, Oliver Solberg on the right. Here we go again, down to turn number 1.
Finland versus Sweden.
Great contests as we go on board with Kovalainen, a one-time Grand Prix winner. Wonderful expression on his face.
The little zero-G lift at the top of that bridge is a great thing to witness from in-car.
Oh my word, Solberg's commitment. Absolutely mighty through his final section of his first tour. He is in touching distance, and he's keeping Kovalainen honest. I think that Solberg might just be ahead. Big drift. How much air for Solberg? There's your answer. Not a huge amount, but it will do. It will do, and he is motoring around here.
Let's not forget that these are the 2 that Travis just tipped to potentially win tonight, and they're taking it close.
Solberg has been superb and takes the win. That was a real high-standard race. And Solberg, having been given the tip by Travis Pastrana, backs it up with a win by 0.4 of a second. And the commitment, the rotation that we saw through the final corners of one of the lanes, I think, for my money, one of the certainly visually, the fastest rotation that we've seen through there. Solberg laying down a marker of what he is capable of, certainly with the supercar lights.
He's got a great natural instinct with the car, Oliver Solberg, and, you know, whether he's flying through the forests very close to trees, or as we are seeing tonight, the precision of a tight tarmac track like this, he's future world champion, no doubt. I mean, he's already a junior World Rally champion. He's already won a round of the WRC2 this season, and we may well see him take the WRC2 title this year, and then Dad comes straight over to debrief.
Well, that was a great performance, and it means 2 wins from 2. And a rapid time on the board as well. Kovalainen taking the second race of the evening. That gives him his victory. We've already said goodbye to Travis Pastrana, who really did find himself in a very, very tricky group, and he knew it. As soon as he lost to Kovalainen, he was in trouble. It's Toby Price versus Hayden Paddon now. They're the drivers making their way to the line in the Polaris.
It's an all-Australasian matchup there.
This is Group C. This is race 3 in Group C. So a big moment ahead then. Price versus Paddon. Here we go. And once again, we are fighting our way down into that first turn.
So if Paddon wins this, he definitely goes through. That's what this is at stake in this race, in the Polaris Pro Rs. And these buggies, these side-by-side, these SUVs, UTVs, whatever you want to call them, are very, very well suited to Toby's sort of desert style, but of course the terrain is a bit different.
Certainly is. And across the line we go. A big advantage, big lock up there.
Throw it in early there. Yeah.
Dramatic stuff as he tries to find his way to the win. Nice amount of air as well. Tire smoking during the rotation here. Spectacular stuff.
Can the Kiwi upset the local heroes crowd?
Oh, it's going to be tight. Toby Price stands on the power. Toby Price takes the win. And he got the job done. Paddon giving it absolutely everything there, but not quite enough. And it's Toby Price who gets a wonderful reception from the crowd and takes more applause. He took the win by just under half a second.
It's like an
across the line.
awkward drive back from the shops, that one, wasn't it? But you said you were going to pick it up. The crucial thing you'll notice, the astute amongst you will notice that there are two people in the cars. So every race, every two-seater car has a passenger, which is a VIP or a guest or a family member, or sometimes a fellow competitor going for a ride-along. And you'll be pleased to know that they are all divided up into weight categories, so that the drivers can't blame, having a heavier passenger on a defeat. So that's who the passengers are, having the ride of their life in the Accor Stadium. It's a tradition at Race of Champions.
And it means that so many... I love the iron grip of the bar in front. And I can't blame it at all.
Gives you a nice sense of the geography there. All the cars that have just been used being cooled down, re-prepped, all the cars that are freshly prepped being lined up to have their pedalers strapped in.
And when you look at the difference between Padden and Solberg, the fastest lap time takes Toby Price through. Add it all up, and he is the driver who progresses.
Running on turn 5, inside just before the last one.
Sorry, yeah? All right, perfect. No problem. Thank you.
It is intense work, but it is successful work. And that is a very, very talented group. Okay, let's hear from our E-Rock winner. What an experience he's had. Michael Romanides speaking to Rosanna.
Michael, congratulations. What you have done this evening is so impressive. You have gone up against a 7-time Rallycross champion. You've gone up against Molly Taylor as well, a rally champion. You've done so well. What has this experience been like?
It's been unbelievable, so many things learned over the last couple of days, winning the E-Rock final. I knew I was going to be in a tough situation here in Group A with Johan and Molly, but it was great experience driving an H pattern for the first time, so that was very exciting, trying to change from first to second gear, some basic things that I had to learn today, but yeah, great experience, a great event here by the Race of Champions, and amazing to have this opportunity even.
How much racing have you really done in real cars?
Not much. Right now, part of a project called Racing Prodigy in the USA, so racing radicals in the country a few times every year, so that's great. And that's really the only thing, no karting, nothing in Greece. It's very difficult to come from there, so some stuff in the radicals, but nothing with a manual, gearbox or sequential or anything. So today was a big learning curve, as I said, but what a better place to do it than here at Race of Champions.
Some drivers have launched their careers here. I'm thinking of Heikki Kovalainen, and we've had other E-Rock winners beating other drivers here as well. What does this mean for your career? We're going to see you back here in the Rock.
Well, I wish I could put on a better show for myself in the 2 races, but again, it's just another experience which I'm going to learn from and try and use in the future, hopefully in a future Race of Champions. So, fingers crossed, I'll always be trying my best. And as I said, it's just unbelievable to be here with these legends. Such a fun event. And, big shout out to the Race of Champions and, Sydney Accor Stadium for letting us here. Great job, building such a nice, complex track for such a small stadium. It's just amazing to be part of this event.
I saw you earlier sitting on the sofa alongside legends like Sebastian Vettel. We got Valtteri Bottas here. It's amazing to rub shoulders with these guys. Have you been asking them for some tips on how to improve your racing as well?
Yeah, I was chatting with a few guys, being in the same venue as them. Sebastian Loeb gave me a lot of advice on how to drive the Subaru because he's super fast. Obviously made it to the final yesterday and won the thing. So, amazing to be part of this and to get some tips and advice from these guys. Just sitting here, waiting to see the next races, seeing Sebastian jumping in the car is just unbelievable. It's starting to sink in, I think, from the driver's briefing already, being there and listening to what we have to do and seeing all the other names which I'm used to seeing on TV and winning F1 championships or something. So it's just unbelievable, a great pleasure to be here, a great honor.
Well done you, on track and on TV tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
So this is how we stand at the moment in our road to crown the champion of champions. We have our quarterfinals, Loeb and Taylor Solberg. That's Oliver Solberg who made it through, and Price as well. We move from our off-roaders. Great to see Oliver Solberg moving his name to quarterfinal B. We now move to the second side of the draw. Smiles all around down. And the car-changing area. We've got Vettel, Kostecki, and Sharp. Here we've got a Formula One world champion, a supercar champion, and a junior champion as well. In the KTM Crossbow to start things off. Fascinated to see how this goes between Sebastian Vettel and Brody Kostecki as well, the 2023 Supercars champion and reigning Bathurst 1000 winner. Red light on, second half of the draw is underway, and Vettel is roaring into turn number one.
Off like a rocket, Sebastian Vettel. He's done many Race of Champions before, and this is the longest serving car in Race of Champions. So, oh, we've got an off.
Oh! Into the barriers we go. Kostecki finds the wall. So impressive yesterday on his way to the final, and that is the most dramatic moment of the evening so far in terms of a car leaving the circuit. It means that if Sebastian Vettel can keep it clean, he will go one up as he tries to score his second individual win in the Race of Champions later on this evening. This is a fine way to get up and running.
Yeah, Vettel's race awareness, he'll be very aware that there is no car anywhere near him at the moment, so he'll be very good at keeping it clean, crossing the line, taking the win, whereas that error from Brody Kostecki on the last corner before the bridge cost him the race.
Fell apart early on. He still finishes around the final corner, but it's Sebastian Vettel who takes the win. And Kostecki paying for that error into the corner. Let's have a look then at what we saw. Very, very aggressive start, that very tight line from Sebastian Vettel, and then keep your eye on the white car at the top. He's struggling the very start. It seemed very tentative into the first turn anyway, and then deep into what is effectively the third of his side, his lane. This is the moment, turned in, cranked on the steering lock, and understeers into the
yes,
Tech Pro.
Yeah, that's the definition of understeer, really, isn't it? Hit the wall with the front of the car as understeer, hit the wall with the back of the car as oversteer. That's how you learn it, and Brody Kostecki learned the lesson right there.
Well, Sebastian Vettel taking the victory, the four-time world champion, with a win to his name. It's going to be exciting. Valtteri Bottas, Kurt Busch, Chaz Mostert. Going to be super competitive, this. Valtteri Bottas trying to find a bit of form. This is his second Race of Champions. Finland were eliminated early on yesterday. He'll want to go deep into the competition. Bottas on the left, Kurt Busch on the right. And we're racing to turn number one. The white car going up against the 10-time Grand Prix winner.
Massive jump. And it's the first time we've seen it. It's too big.
He's overcooked it.
Literally a flying fin. Just flew a little bit too far there.
I was thinking that's a mighty jump, and then we were both tracking as we went through. Bottas making contact with the barrier after a flat-out run, scraping down the wall.
He's still leading, though.
He is. Race control might be looking at how heavily he hit the wall. We did see Victor Martins penalised for a barrier movement like that earlier on. We've still got an active race between a former NASCAR Cup champion and a 10-time Grand Prix winner with Mercedes. And this has been a really strong second half of the lap. Kurt Busch, who comes across the line and takes the victory, pulls on the anchors and goes one up.
Yeah, Kurt Busch has come out of retirement for this event. Travis Pastrana called him up and said, please be my teammate in Sydney. And he went, oh, okay then. And look, he delivers. First time we've seen the FC2s in the Race of Champions. That's the big jump. Slam on the brakes. But no, understeer again. But, you know, it's a spectacle that we love to see. That's what these cars are designed to do. They're designed for mixed surfaces. So they cope with tarmac just as well as they do with gravel and mud and ice and snow. But not so good with the water-filled Tech Pro when you bounce off them.
Bottas tried to recover, so that was the moment where it came undone in the FC2. Hugely powerful cars, 500 brake horsepower. But Bottas still not able to find his way through. We move to Group F, which contains Will Brown, David Coulthard, and the driver who was able to, along with Sebastian Loeb, take the team win. And speaking to DC earlier, I was like, who have you got in your group?
Yeah.
Like Will Brown,
He's not
reigning
happy.
Supercars
Yeah.
champion, and Victor Martins, who was the star of the show last night. Okay, there is intense work to replace the chicanes, so we're now in the Toyota GR86s, and as a result we need the chicane in place. That looks like we do have the chicane in place. Green lights, and it's Will Brown versus David Coulthard, 13-time Grand Prix winner, and he wasn't full of hope considering the group he was in, but we'll see what he can do in the Toyota. Was rolling at Polaris earlier in practice earlier in the week.
Let's not forget that David Coulthard has been champion of champions twice, so he's got muscle memory of what it takes to get to the final and win it on an event like this.
He certainly has. In Barbados and in Saudi Arabia in 2014 and 2018, he has taken the individual title. And weaving through, it's been a good start to proceedings. Gotta say, it's pretty weird commentating on DC when he's usually standing where you are, Phil, at this stage of proceedings. It's been a good run, and this is going to be super tight. How brave is it going to be? Brown versus Coulthard. Across the line we go, and Brown takes it by a nose. The crowd enjoyed that one. Will Brown taking it by 0.06 of a second. And that really came down to the final meters of the contest. Group F with a great race.
Yeah, superb racing, and Will Brown getting the extra sort of 10th maybe from the local crowd to watch him race in supercars. He's been a great addition to Race of Champions, one of our many rocket debutants this weekend. But yeah, don't count out DC, but you're absolutely right. He was trepidatious, let's say, about his group, because Victor Martins is the man of the moment, and Will Brown is a very talented pedaler.
The crowd enjoying that one. A moment now to go and get some refreshments for plenty. Bounding up the stairs, very enthusiastic. Oh, very good so far. It's relentless. I absolutely love the action that we've had. And now let's check in with Rosanna, who is speaking to Toby Price, who's eliminated 2 rally champions tonight.
Toby, congratulations. You've made it through into the quarters, just making yourself so much stronger than rally champions. My goodness me, taking those out tonight.
Well, it was a nail biter, don't worry. I don't think I've got any nails left, but yeah, it was a tough run in the first one. We had cold tyres and didn't quite adjust to that too well, but yeah, with Patton there in the last one, it was all or nothing. So I went for it and hoped for the best, and yeah, it got us through. So yeah, we're trying to keep them Aussies up near the front and have a good time. So yeah, it's amazing to see the support from everyone in the grandstand. So we're trying our best in a game we don't know, and yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
And next up, you're going to take on Oliver Solberg. He's been so strong. How are you rating your chances?
Well, I'm hoping it's in a Toyota or a Subaru because, yeah, if I throw him in a rally car, I think it's, yeah, he's going to wipe the field. But, yeah, Oliver's doing an amazing job. So, look, we'll just try and do our best and just see what comes of it. It's going to be a close one, I think.
And what has this whole experience been like? Because, as you say, this is so out of your comfort zone. We're racing on asphalt. What's it been like for you?
It's been amazing. Like, yeah, to be where I am and do what I'm doing, I'm really happy with that. For sure, I want to win, but we're against some of the world's greatest motorsport athletes. So, yeah, if I can just hold my own and, and be competitive, I'm really happy with that. But, yeah, of course I want to win, and of course I want to keep the Aussie flag up near the front.
Good luck in the quarters, Toby.
Thank you very much. I'm going to need it.
I love that response. He has been another driver who's just acquitted himself so well across the Nations Cup day yesterday and getting through into the corner, speaking to David Coulthard down there. And we highlight this time and again. It's a great area down there. You've got the whiff of petrol, and you've got so many brilliant machines down there, but you've also got the drivers from different disciplines all meshed together. That is the wonderful thing about Race of Champions.
And you know, Toby's discipline is very different from you know, everyone else's. When you're in the bivouac and you leave at 4 in the morning on your bike and you lead out to sunrise and you ride across the deserts, you might not see another human for 12 hours.
It's
so
majestic,
you know,
isn't it?
So for him to have this kind of constant locker room chat with some of the greatest names and faces in motorsport, you know, he's done well not to be. He's a very cool character, but not to even be overwhelmed by that. Yeah, he's a lone wolf really when he sets out in his bike or his truck.
It's a very, very good point, Neil. He's got plenty more friends lining the track tonight. Okay. Rolling onto the circuit, Sebastian Vettel back once again. And hearing there is an issue with the cars, so he will roll back. Left turn, and back to the pit lane we go, back to the car change area, effectively our paddock underneath the grandstand, and we are building up. We were hoping to see Sebastian Vettel out on the circuit.
Listening to the suspension squeak on that KTM Cosmo. So the rules are to make the competition as fair as possible. The drivers, when they take the cars from that car change area up to the second, they've got up until the start line to flag up if there's an issue with the car. If they take the start and then discover there's an issue, then they have to complete the race. It's like any competitive sport. So obviously something wrong with one of the crossbows, so we move on to the next race and get back to Vettel in a moment.
Right, time for Big Air. This is going to be a huge moment. Chaz Mostert up against Valtteri Bottas. The chicane is gone, so Big Air is available, though I imagine Bottas is going to dial it back somewhat.
I hope not.
After rearranging the furniture on the left-hand turn after the bridge.
Great view there of the handbrake, which is part of the launch control process of these. And it is the same car for Valtteri that he jumped before.
Green lights means that we go racing once again. And we find ourselves into the first turn with Mostert up against Valtteri Bottas. That was a lot. Can he slow it down? That was a huge amount of air considering he made the corner. Mostert judging that absolutely perfectly.
Mozzie was obviously on the brakes in the air to get the car tilted down and landing and stopping at the same time. Brilliant skills.
Supercars drivers really acquitted themselves brilliantly no matter what they were given yesterday, and we're seeing that once again. Lot of support everywhere he goes. Same applies to Valtteri Bottas, who again got massive air and this time did manage to slow it down. He's got a little bit of work to do though. Mostert, I think, is up. He's got the advantage. Can he send Bottas to defeat? He can. Chaz Mostert has taken the win in the Race of Champions. And that is a superb performance to defeat a 10-time Grand Prix winner.
Yeah, so Mozzie progresses, and he has knocked the adoptive Aussie, Valtteri Bottas, out of the competition. That is Bottas out early again.
Yeah, Valtteri Bottas, huge cheers for him every time he's been introduced to the crowd. Look at that, especially when you're opening it up. What a passenger ride to have. And it's hairy enough when you're out there and they're glued to the tarmac, let alone getting big air. And that's a great view of Bottas coming across the line.
Their teammates yesterday, and he was applauding his compatriot there.
Chaz getting the encouragement from his supercars colleague. And there you can see the time. So Chaz Mostert in first position, Kurt Busch in second. Valtteri Bottas staring at the exit once again. No wins for him across 2 races.
And that means there'll be a decider between those two.
So we've got to separate those two to get our quarter-finalist. Mick Schumacher already seeded after his performance last time out in the Race of Champions. Next, we move to Louis Sharp up against Sebastian Vettel, the British Formula 4 champion and GB3 champion, about to be racing out on the circuit. Sebastian Vettel is attacking on. So the race underway, and we find...
I think they might be doing a tyre warming lap.
A warm-up?
I feel like they might be doing a tyre warming lap because I didn't see the start procedure.
Yeah, they are lining up.
They must have had to put fresh tyres on these crossbows and to make sure that both of them have the correct amount of heat in the tyres.
I think there was a little bit of confusion going. The marshal's waving them down there, but either way, swapping lanes, and we go into the start procedure. So there was an issue earlier on which saw this race delayed, but the issue has been fixed, and we see Vettel swapping lanes, Louis Sharp doing the burnout, and then he will line up in position. And Vettel will do the same thing.
Louis, our youngest ever competitor at Race of Champions, 17 years old.
Incredible. Incredible.
He just has to look across the other lane and see Sebastian Vettel. Amazing.
Amazing to see. So the red light is on. And we go green at Accor Stadium. And a brilliant start from Sharp. Let's see whether Sebastian Vettel can keep things going and take another victory. Had one earlier on, one of the Supercars Stars, champion of 2023, Masteki, and Sharp with the advantage. We'll see what the split is. Vettel showing all of his experience, all of his knowledge, and all of his speed to move ahead as he picks his way through the chicane.
Sebastian Vettel was champion of champions in another Olympic stadium. He took gold in 2015 in London. Can he repeat that here in Sydney?
Checkered flag is waving. Checkered flag waving for Sebastian Vettel, who eases to another victory. And that's his second of the evening. He means business in ROC 2025. Louis Sharp doing well off the start line. Look at this. Great reaction time. And then Vettel whittling away his advantage.
I like the way that Louis Sharp positioned the car on the start. He was slightly to the left of the start box to give him the best angle into turn one. That's kind of sharp racecraft, but it still counted for nothing when you're up against the 4-time F1 champion Sebastian Vettel and a stalwart of Race of Champions. And that's why.
There's the celebration that we've known for so long. Vettel raising the finger and celebrating the victory. Okay, Sebastian Vettel, you can see 2 races, 2 wins. Very impressive so far. And through he goes into the next stage. It's more brutal, the individual competition, than the team's championship, where you have so many teams in contention for a lot longer. You've got to deliver straight out of the box in the champion of champions. Victor Martins up against Will Brown now, both making their debut in the Race of Champions and both having great evenings last evening.
Very impressive yesterday, so this is likely to be a very tight matchup.
Here we go in the Toyotas, the GR86s. Martins with the French flag fluttering as he makes his way through the chicane. Louis Sharp wasn't leaving much margin on the exit, and neither was Victor Martins, who looked really comfortable yesterday, Neil, in everything he was driving.
Yeah, he was slightly slower reflexes off the start, though, I think, and I wonder if that'll cost him. He does look like he's ahead at the moment, Victor Martins, but Will Brown got a better start for sure.
Yeah, lane A is 473 meters, lane B 457, and it means that you always see the outside lane across the line after lap 1, usually with the advantage, and then you gain those 16 meters back. So let's see what Brown can do in these final corners. Looks like it's going to be tight once again. And it looks like Will Brown's got the power down. Who's going to get it across the line? It's super tight. It's Will Brown who brings the cheer from the crowd. And that was an excellent way to take the win.
Showing everything that these Toyota GR86s can do. But yeah, you know, last night, Victor was Victor in the Nations Cup. That just goes to show how strong a competitor this weekend Will Brown is, that he was able to beat him, but so close, such fine margins. But yeah, using the curbs, throwing the car around, certainly in Victor's day job, it's an unusual thing to be doing, is to just throwing these cars around so physically, but adapting like a pro.
Excellent stuff for Will Brown, who progresses. And he is delighted that he will fight on in this contest. So Will Brown, 2 races, 2 wins, and progression through into the next stage, eliminating Victor Martins and David Coulthard. Well, the action just keeps on coming, and we have some major names in the next stage. The quarterfinals will be contested. We've already seen Sebastian Vettel book his place. One driver who won't be making it through, unfortunately for the crowd, is Valtteri Bottas.
Valtteri, Finnish fans and Australian fans are going to be disappointed to see you out so soon, but how much fun did you have out there?
Yeah, of course it was fun, but yeah, it's sad to be out so early. That's the name of the game. Can happen. Yeah, in the first run, I took the jump flat out, and then I just couldn't stop the car for the next corner. But yeah, it's a struggle because last time I drove this car was on Thursday for 3 laps, and the balance was like very different now. So it was more like forceful driving than natural driving. So I was kind of then by the end of the second run expecting that result.
That's such an F1 driver response, I have to say.
Yeah, that's how it is.
We love seeing you get the air, though. Super cool, that jump. Wow, what did that feel like?
Yeah, it's nice nice to have that jump there, and especially with that car, you can really launch it off, but obviously I launched it a bit too much at the first time.
I'd say you're going to go and have a coffee, but I guess you're going to go and have some of your wine upstairs, right, and watch the action?
Absolutely, I'm going to go for this beautiful Ihana wine, Shiraz, which is available worldwide online.
Get around it, Valtteri.
Thank you. And thank you to the fans and the support, it's been amazing.
Quick, to the red wine, go!
Brilliant, yes, he's supporting the event this weekend, showing off his amazing special grapes, special wine region, and his wine to go along with his gin. And the great thing about seeing Valtteri Bottas jump like that, Alex, is that in the Finnish Rally Finland is all about jumps. Like every single stage has, you know, countless jumps. Sometimes jumps where they're not even in your pace notes. And sort of internationally, they're known as jumps because of Finland. And so I'm sure that around the gravel roads of Finland back home, Valtteri is very familiar with getting a little bit of air in his cars, even if he hasn't been in his Formula One career.
Wonder how far those two will go in the competition. Sebastian Vettel and Oliver Solberg finding themselves still in the competition. DC just loving life down there.
And there's obviously 2 different sides of the draw as well, so it'll be later, only be towards the very end of the competition that we would see a potential matchup between Vettel and Solberg, because one's from the circuit side and one's from the off-road side, so that's why it's divided like that. Circuit racers race against circuit racers, off-roaders race against off-roaders.
Kostecki versus Sharp up next in the KTM crossbows. Not too long to wait for that contest. They will make their way to the arch in a few seconds' time.
So these crossbows have 400 Newton meters of torque, 355 horsepower, and they're the lightest of the bunch here, less than 800 kilos. So, and obviously open cockpit, open wheels.
It's Brodie Kostecki up against Louis Sharp, the 2023 Supercars champion and reigning Bathurst 1000 winner, up against a driver youngest in the field, climbing his way through the motor racing ladder. He'll be racing in Melbourne in Formula 3, but right now he's in Sydney in the Accor Stadium, and he's fighting up against a competitor who will be desperate to have a better showing in this KTM than the contact with the barrier that he had before. And he's making his way through. Kostecki absolutely desperate.
Yeah, this
a win on the board.
Yeah, this is all or nothing for these two. They both need a win to go any further. Which one can handle the pressure better?
So there's a good advantage. I'd say that was more than the usual. So he's in a great position to take the win here. You see 1.4. The reference is about 1.1 that we have between lane A and lane B. And lane A is slightly longer than lane B by 16 meters. Gives you the offset, and it's getting very, very tight. Tighter than maybe we expected, but it's going to be Kostecki who takes the checkered flag and gets the win that he oh so badly needed.
Yeah. Another tight one, though. It's no slouch, that Louis Sharp.
And Louis Sharp has been progressing all the way through the last couple of days. And there you go, Group D and the victory for Kostecki.
Very even start from both sides of the track. And then this is where they start to separate. One goes over, one goes under. And then when they come back around again, that's when they get the sense of who's ahead. And you have to be careful not to engage red mist or get complacent, whichever way it applies. But great that Brodie Kostecki could join us. A late addition to the field as well.
It was indeed. It should have been Jamie Whincup, but obviously with the cyclone battering his part of the world, he had to put family first, and his substitution has been absolutely excellent. His substitute and the champion of 2023 in that ever-entertaining series. So it's time for another contest. Kurt Busch and Chaz Mostert are about to take the field. The giant screen that we have here in the Accor Stadium, telling all the fans, and as that part of the circuit, you at home as well, wherever in the world you're watching, it's great to have your company. Kurt Busch and Chaz Mostert about to do battle out on the circuit. Group E, race 3, Kurt Busch, Chaz Mostert, the red light, the revs rise, and the green light illuminates here in Sydney, in the former Olympic Stadium. And this is winner takes all. So this is all on the line, Neil, with progression, the reward for the winner.
These two have very similar driving styles. It's a very good matchup. And this is a car that has such power to all four wheels, which isn't something that either of these drivers will be used to their day jobs. And it does look close.
It is going to be very close on the evidence out of the commentary box window. So Busch in the black and orange car, tapping the barrier. That'll be okay, but did it cost him time? Is it heading the way of Chaz Mostert? That is going to be the question. Looking like he's had a really strong run into the wall. And it means that Mostert's going to take it. Busch will go out, Mostert will go through.
Mozzie can definitely cut the mustard. He flew over the jump. Hopefully we'll see it in the highlights, but he absolutely flew, pushing to get the win, not realizing that then Kurt would make a little mistake in the barriers, technically handing him the victory, but The Pirelli tyres gripping into this fresh tarmac. All four wheels launching the FC2s off the line.
Wonderful angle. I'm not sure we've seen that one, and this is the beginning of Busch's trouble. That was only a tap of the Tech Pro, but then deep and heavily leaning. All the momentum, all the rhythm fading away when he needed it most.
Yeah, you lose so much momentum when that happens, but this is a chance to see these cars getting some air.
Superb stuff.
Already on the brakes, already turning in. That's what Valtteri's just explaining as well.
It's animated down there. Chaz Mostert taking the win and booking his place in the quarterfinals as a result. Another Aussie to join Taylor and Price in the quarterfinals.
The home crowd will be very pleased with that.
You can see Chaz is delighted with what he's achieved. He's got a brilliant, brilliant following. And every time we have an interview with him, you can see why.
Yeah.
He is a great character and saying hello to his family down the barrel of that lens.
He gives off positive human vibes, doesn't he?
He really does. David Coulthard up against Victor Martins, a former Formula 3 champion, up against a 13-time Grand Prix winner. The sort of sentence I adore when it comes to the race of champions.
It's unique, isn't it?
A great, great matchup between these two. And off the line we go in the Toyotas. DC in the all-white Toyota GR86, looking to try and get a win up against a hot prospect. And many people expecting him to contend for the Formula 2 Championship. He will be racing in Melbourne. DC has clipped the Apex Tech Pro, and the marshals are immediately springing into action to replace it. Let's see the advantage that DC has across the line. It's not quite much, and that means that it's advantage Victor Martins.
Advantage Victor Martins, and also DC knows he's on a warning. One touch for Tech Pros is a warning. A second touch is an instant 5-second penalty, so he'll have to push but be careful, which is an almost impossible dynamic as any racing driver will know. You have to be right on the limit.
Yeah, wide into the right-hander before the bridge corner, and Victor Martins is roaring clear. Another win for him. After the success in the Nations Cup yesterday, it's individual victory this time around, up against a 13-time Grand Prix winner who's 54 years young. In a couple of weeks' time, as we look at the action from our fantastic drone shot, Victor Martins was in control of that one.
Despite a slightly better start, his reaction times, DC's still got good reaction times. He was slightly quicker off the line. But the great thing about Victor Martins is that he was paired up with Sebastian Loeb yesterday. And before Sebastian Loeb was a racing driver, a rally driver, he was a gymnast. And after the podium, the two of them did simultaneous synchronized backflips from standing. And I think, you know, everyone was surprised because I've seen Seb do that before, but I've never seen someone match him. So they were a good team.
Well, we have our lineup for the quarterfinals, the final race of the group stage between Coulthard and Martins. And we're going to have Loeb versus Taylor. We're going to have Oliver Solberg versus Price. We're going to have Vettel versus Mostert. And we're going to have Mick Schumacher versus Brown. Let's go downstairs, where Rosanna is ready to have a chat with Petter Solberg watching on.
Petter, you have been to many Race of Champions. How much have you been enjoying the action this evening? Because I feel we haven't seen you enough out there on the track.
No, it is how it is sometimes, you know, and I have found out after not driving for 5 years, I need to maybe plan a little bit testing before I come to Race of Champions. You're missing, I have understeer in the next last corner now, and I have to back off, and I lost with 1/10 or something, and you know how it is. It's tricky sometimes, but we are following Oliver now, So me and Johan, we are trying to support Oliver as best as we can, and it will be exciting.
So you're supporting Sweden and your son then?
Oliver.
Just to be clear, how do you rate his chances? Because I was talking to Travis Pastrana earlier, and he says Oliver is the one to watch. He thinks he's going to be champion of champions.
Well, we saw also last year, he had in Sweden he looked like he could win, but he had a small issue with the car. He's fast, but he's driving different cars. We will see. You have to be so clean, but he have a lot of kilometers in his bum. So yeah, we believe in him, and we will see. But it's hard competition. Yeah, I'm excited.
Proud dad moment coming up. Thank you, Petter.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So the lovely thing about the Solberg family, Pernilla and Petter have been very supportive of Oliver's career so far. But Petter's got so much previous here in Australia. He won Rally Australia when it was over in WA in Perth, and I think they got engaged here. And the last time Oliver came to Australia was when he was 1 year old to come to a rally and watch his dad compete. So they're very, very supportive, even if that's at the expense of Petter's own seat time, as he just explained.
Wonderful stuff. Solberg looking to claim the individual crown. He's claimed the Nations Cup with his old man in the last 2 runnings of the event. It's Norway in 2023, it was Norway in 2022. That was on the snow and that was on the ice. We are on the asphalt, back in a stadium for the first time since 2018 and Riyadh, and we are going to find so many big hitters coming our way in the next couple of moments as we begin the quarterfinals.
It's a view I've seen so many times. Sebastian Loeb tightening the belts, getting himself settled into his rallycross car. A piece of kit he is very comfortable in and very familiar with.
The journey to crown a champion of champions gets even more serious now. It's Loeb versus Taylor in the first of our quarterfinals. Petter Solberg has been talking about how it's not always an advantage to be seeded. Loeb taking the position of Matthias Ekstrom, who should have been competing. He was too unwell to travel to this event. We send him our best from the commentary box. Sebastian Loeb taking his position as the most successful driver in the field as a result. He's a 4-time winner, looking to make it 5 tonight after taking France's first team's title in the Nations Cup since 2004 last night. And he's up against a home favourite, a home hero in Molly Taylor.
And they are both Extreme E champions, and they are both in Supercar Lights, these incredible, powerful, light rallycross cars, 4-wheel drive. Here we go, revs go up, full revs, handbrake on, and the launch.
Let's go racing. This is going to be really intriguing to see whether all of Loeb's experience tells when he's not been racing at all tonight. A little bit of air across the bridge. We've removed the chicane, which is the case for the rally cars and the Polarises as we make our way through. Let's see. Loeb has had an absolutely dynamite start to this one, and he has an enormous lead at the interval.
Well, he's an analyst as well as an absolutely no-holds-barred racing rally driver, and I think he'll have calculated the amount of air is the most efficient before you get the wheels back down on the ground to get the advantage that he has now got in this race. So Loeb has done his homework, even if he hasn't had any seat time in the groups.
These elimination quarterfinals are the best of 3, and taking the checkered flag for the first win in this contest is Sebastian Loeb. And that was really efficient stuff. Excellent performance, and you can see he's won that by 3 seconds. That is a big margin.
Utterly dominant to silence the crowd who are big fans of Molly Taylor. She grew up in Sydney. But yeah, Sebastian Loeb, And what's great for Sebastian is, you know, he's those Dacia Sandrider overalls have practically only just got the dust washed out of them from the Dakar and the Abu Dhabi Desert Challenge. But he has many years in touring cars, in Le Mans, as well as rallying and off-road and rallycross too. So he can transfer his skills instantly to any piece of kit and any surface.
Impressive stuff and a real marker laid down. You'd expect nothing less from Sebastian Loeb, trying to be the all-time record holder. And a nice conversation going on between Molly Taylor and the 9-time champion of the world. We move on to the next quarter-final. And it's Oliver Solberg up against Toby Price. Toby Price has been underlining time and again that he's been a fish out of water, taken on the Dakar on 2 wheels, but he has acquitted himself brilliantly in front of his home crowd. And now he's coming up against one of the favourites for the competition. They're in the Toyota GR86s. I'm sure many of you will recognise this car from the support races for the Supercars Championship. And in a few moments' time, it's going to be Price versus Solberg.
We don't need wing mirrors.
Not where we're going. Green lights, we go racing. And Solberg gets the better initial launch.
The famous mouth open look that he's inherited involuntarily from his father. So famous and distinctive, the Solberg stare.
Good rotation with the Toyota. Really nice stuff from Solberg through the longer route of this part of the circuit. And this is super stuff across the line. Really good stuff across the line.
It does look advantage Oliver at the moment.
Let's see whether Toby Price can increase the risk and maybe find a reward at the end of it. It was a good advantage across the line, but things can change. Solberg, slightly hesitant through the last couple of corners. Will he open the door here? Still seems to have a car length advantage. Price gave it everything, but it's Oliver Solberg who takes the victory.
He's very happy about that.
Yeah, wins it
Love to see it.
Just under 0.6 of a second as Dad watches on, but he's pumped up for this one. He's won the Nations Cup with his father before, but he's looking to try and do something that the Solbergs haven't done before and take the individual crown.
And it's worth noting as well that the Toyota GR86 is a right-hand drive car, so the natural instinct for most of these drivers, if they're changing with a manual gearbox, you know, the danger is they're going to open the door instead of changing gear because they feel like they're on the wrong side of the car. So just all these different things they have to adapt to is even just changing gear with your left hand. Mastered.
Lovely to see.
Yeah,
lovely
really
to see.
good.
Driver and passenger Toby Price saying well done to Oliver Solberg, who seems up for the cup, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really
Very
does.
much is enjoying things. Great stuff out there in the car change area.
So these cars, basically, they're the Subaru factory that builds them also builds the Toyotas that we just saw. And these are basically, they've got a half roll cage in them, a few tweaks to make them race worthy, but they're a road car, which is why they are the stealth car in the pack. They're quiet, but they're very, very fast. The BRZ TS.
So Chaz Mostert up against Sebastian Vettel. Mostert is a 2-time Bathurst 1000 winner. He's a class winner at the Spa 24 Hours and the Daytona 24 Hours. Can he beat a 4-time world champion? The slightly jarring lack of noise as we leave the line, but we are racing.
I said they were quiet.
Circuit. You're not wrong, Neil.
It was a much better launch, though, from Sebastian Vettel, it looked like. I don't know if there was a problem for Mozzie.
Let's see what Mostert can do. The tighter section. Vettel with the advantage. Again, given the lane he started in, you would expect that. Across the line we go. It's not over yet. It's very much still in close range. And now, going around the chicane is the issue for Mostert, and he's handled that really nicely.
Great.
That was super efficient. It was 0.2 of a second, the theoretical advantage for Sebastian Vettel. Is that still going to be the case when we compare lane by lane? It's looking like a great final corner for Mostert. It's looking like victory for Chaz Mostert, and the crowd absolutely love it.
That was like the 100 meters final 25 years ago in this very stadium. That was brilliant. The crowd, I got goosebumps at the noise of the crowd cheering on their compatriot there.
0.3 of a second, great final lane from Chaz Mostert, and it's given him the win against Vettel in their first race.
I think you called it. The body language, the way he threw the car through the chicane up on the bridge, was very different to what we've seen some of the other circuit-based racers do. He was a little bit more rally style, so he used the momentum of the car left, right, left.
Great celebration across the line. What a great shot that was. How well have the Supercars boys done? That's been brilliant to see in such a talented field. Making his way back into car change and taking a breather. Not that much of a breather, but a breather all the same. And how about it? He's just beaten a 4-time champion of the world.
The great thing about it being in the NRL stadium is that the changing rooms have an ice plunge bath. Yeah. And I know that some of the drivers have been taking advantage of that to cool down their muscles from the exertion of Race of Champions.
You might need one of those, Neil, if you have any more of Bottas's wine.
Very delicious.
Mick Schumacher, who was seeded, didn't take part in the group stages.
So it's the first time we've seen him.
And that is a result of his previous performance. So that carries through, gives you the advantage into the next year. He's up against Will Brown. Will Brown, the reigning Supercars champion. And it's Schumacher versus Brown. And it's Schumacher in the black car that is racing the Supercar lights. Hugely impressive machines. 0 to 100 kph in 3.5 seconds. And this is evenly matched at the start of this one.
I think Will Brown took the Loeb approach over the bridge, realizing that big air may be spectacular, but it's not the quickest way.
So Will Brown, 1-2, good advantage, you have to say.
Yeah.
That is a mighty opening stint. And it's like the Supercars drivers are geeing each other forward here. It's fantastic. Healthy competition. Schumacher needs a mighty couple of corners. Needs something special here because he was way back at the intermediate. But we've seen things change before, and he's gone super aggressive in this second lane. But it's going to be Will Brown at the flag. Will Brown takes the win, and he goes 1-up against Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, that second half tour from Mick was mighty because he had a lot more than that gap when they crossed the line the first time.
I mean, you said it, Neil. The drivers have so much capacity. They're registering where they are at the intermediate, and you're seeing a much, certainly, time and time again, so aggressive on that second lane. And that's why we're seeing the advantage whittle away. The chicane has been replaced. It was removed for what we saw last time. Good air. And excellent stuff. The action continues here at the Accor Stadium. Well done to Will Brown. That was excellent stuff. And Sebastian Vettel says, well done.
You still going? It's great that the drivers themselves sometimes get a little bit lost in the tournament structure. So Kurt asking Sebastian if he's still going. Yeah, I've still got a chance.
Yeah, I still might win the whole thing.
But look at that. Those the Aussies are representing extremely well.
Okay, let's hear from the man himself. Kurt Busch is in conversation with Rosanna.
Kurt, I love your Race of Champions Sydney story. You've come out of retirement for this. How has this experience been?
It's been wonderful. It's to race out there and to feel the adrenaline, to be with the fraternity of guys. I mean, if you feel like a kid, because you get to drive all these different cars, you're in a cool stadium. It's just something you would think about as a kid dreaming of making it to the big time, and this was a fun treat to prep myself and to put my body back through racing and to give it my best shot. So I had a good round one. today. Really good round 1 yesterday. But that round 2 right there, I picked the worst time to run my worst lap.
Which of the cars have you enjoyed the most then?
The Polaris RZR, the buggy, is so much fun. And then with the chicane being removed for the rally cars, that's what I came here for. I came here to launch a car.
I've loved watching you come back out of the cars and replay all the kind of moves, a bit like a cricketer, playing at shots.
Yes, and then you see driver talk. We use our hands a lot and our body language this way, that way. And so, yeah, the second rally run I had today, just really sliding bad to the rights, and I couldn't get it to turn on the lefts. You would have thought a NASCAR guy could have got to the left-hand turn.
Exactly, that's your specialty. Travis Pastrana dragged you out of retirement. Do we thank Travis for having you here at Rock, but also perhaps for some future racing coming Kurt Busch's way?
Yeah, this is a good test. It's like throwing a rock in the pond and seeing the ripples. Now it's a ripple effect of what pops up, what phone calls come my way, or new connections here down in Australia. I love the guys. The guys down here are so much fun. Those Australian V8 supercars are way beyond my capacity, but there could be something over at Bathurst. We'll find out.
Oh, exciting stuff. Kurt, it's been a pleasure having you here at the Race of Champions.
Thank you. I really enjoy it down here. It feels just like I'm home. So I really love the Australian culture and the country.
Did we just get a world exclusive?
I think we did, and wonderful that the Race of Champions is setting up the connections that could create another chapter in his career, which has already taken him to the NASCAR Cup, and you sense he's enjoyed every single second of this event.
It does have a history of doing that. You know, the unlikely pairings mean that someone might try a discipline. You know, we may see Sebastian Loeb trying his hand at a bit more rallycross again this year, because he's got into the car, he's reconnected with Olsbergs, the team, the Rally X people that put the cars together. You know, anything can happen, and that's the magic of Race of Champions. Great thing that Kurt Busch said there as well. He's having to turn right a lot more than he's ever been used to in his career.
Well, we are building up to the next race. We're ready to see after our first flurry of quarterfinals.
And it's the first time in a while we've seen the Polaris Pro R. Now, you may have seen these in action when we raced in the Arctic Circle of Sweden, but these are the bigger version. Everything's bigger, big suspension travel, big different geometry, bigger diffs. And the key thing about these is they're automatic. CVT, so they basically no gear shifts required. You've just got to handle how much it rolls side to side like a boat.
The crowd giving a big cheer to Molly Taylor, who needs this one then. It's quarterfinal A, heat 2, advantage Loeb with 1 win. Molly Taylor needs this one to stay in the competition. All in for the win, up against Loeb. And it was a big cheer for Molly Taylor. She needs a huge performance here. And she gets a little bit of air as she heads now into the left-hander. And looking good behind the wheel of the Polaris. Slightly wide there, having to wait to apply the power. Let's see. Looks like it's going to be an advantage. That's the important thing when you're heading into the outside lane. It's going to be tight, this one, Neil.
It is, yeah. I think Molly does have a slight advantage, but we know that second lap can bring things closer together. The great thing about this, both rally champions, but also both Extreme E champions. So they know each other extremely well from paddocks, bivouacs, all around the world. But who's got the advantage as we get to the closing stages?
And we are into the final corners now, and it looks like Loeb is getting closer and closer and closer, and Loeb will take it. Loeb is heading to the semi-finals, a 2-0 winner. And he's eliminated the home hero. Molly Taylor had a great group stage, but is out at the quarterfinal stage. It's Sebastian Loeb who takes the win.
And showing no signs of having lost out on track time in the group stages, but of course he got almost more track time than anyone last night, on course to winning the Rock Nations Cup.
Yeah, he did. A lot of time on the track. A lot of experience. Great shot. The suspension.
Watch the suspension travel on that.
Straight. Look at that. Brilliant.
I mean, these things are the weapon of choice for, you know, they've won the Dakar in class, they've won the Bathurst 1000 in class. They won the King of the Hammers in class. And that man is class. Just Sebastian Loeb walking from one vehicle to the next. He's utterly unflappable.
Looking in mighty form so far out there tonight. Okay, Toby Price versus Oliver Solberg. And we've seen one Australian head for the exit. Are we about to see the second one, or can Toby Price take us to a decider? It was Oliver Solberg who won their first race by less than 0.6 of a second. There is Oliver Solberg. He's been a Rock Nations Cup winner. He is chasing the individual crown and the right to call himself the champion of champions. If he wins here, he progresses to the semi-finals. We go green, we go racing.
It's a classic case of go hard or go home for Toby Price. He knows he has to win this to take it to a decider. Hotly tipped Oliver Solberg is on an incredible winning streak.
He is indeed. Can Price upset the narrative? Can Price find something? They need to carry speed around this final corner at the moment. It's advantage Solberg. That's not enough. That is not enough at the split. But remember, things can change in different lanes. And are we going to see a mighty final couple of meters? Because it would be the end of the competition for a man who's given the crowd so much to cheer across 2 evenings. It's advantage Solberg at the moment tonight, representing Sweden. Last night it was Norway, and it looks like Solberg has the chance of getting the power down. Thought there was going to be an opportunity for Price, but it's Solberg who takes the second win and progresses through into the semi-finals. He does so by less than 0.2 of a second.
And I think that 0.2 was lost in that overcorrection, slight oversteer out of the final corner from Toby Price. And he was having to readjust rather than just being straight four-wheel drive towards the finish line. What a shame for Toby. He really was very close to winning that. Sliding.
Brilliant to see. Brilliant to see, and this is what it was like across the line. And this is what the crowd made of it. So close.
Living every moment. They are, you know, meters away from these race cars. What a brilliant experience for all those that bought tickets to come to the Accor Stadium here in Sydney.
Just on the power a tad too soon.
Yeah.
But it was a great effort, and loved seeing the Australian off-roaders. Loeb knows that he's heading to the semi-final. Reapply.
Yeah, just making sure it's straight. Loeb would have gone up there and gone bang and stuck it in.
No.
And someone else wants it nice and straight.
Well, this is a key race then for Sebastian Vettel. Chaz Mostert is 1 up. And Vettel take it to a decider? We've seen 2-0 wins so far in the quarterfinals. Can Vettel change that narrative? Can he fight his way through? He's looking to try and win his second individual crown at the Race of Champions this evening. But to do so, he's going to have to win 2 in a row up against Chaz Mostert. We go green and we go racing. Great reaction time for the 4-time world champion in Formula One.
It was a great launch from Sebastian. Can he convert it to a win?
A little bit of air, but not too much.
Yeah.
Tiny smidge of air from Chaz Mostert, who has a race to play with here, has a race in hand, if you like, but still is going really nicely. That's a huge advantage if you consider who he's up against here. A driver who won 53 Grand Prix is clinging on to his place in the Race of Champions.
Yeah, Chaz Mostert is really delivering here, and he's really got to grips with these rallycross cars because they're a handful, but they are driver favourites.
Oh, Vettel's got to go all in here, needs to find an answer. He can't do it, he spins. And Mostert takes the win to eliminate the 4-time champion. And Chaz marches on.
That was all or nothing for Sebastian Vettel, bouncing off the scenery, colliding with barriers on both sides, just trying to take the win on the last straight, but it was nothing he could do.
Mozzie's going through, a 2-0 winner, another 2-0 winner. But you have to say, that is a big, big statement from him to eliminate a former winner of this competition, to eliminate a 53-time Grand Prix winner, and Vettel wasn't going to fall without trying everything he had, trying to go full Scandi flip through the final corner and just not having the room on the outside, bouncing off the barriers and playing no further part, falling at the quarter-final stage.
It's a big scalp. The Aussies are taking another big scalp here.
Yeah, and great to see his countrymen cheering on there, and high fives all round. They're one of the most popular drivers in all of supercars, and really performing well. So, we've got Sebastian Loeb going through, Oliver Solberg going through, now Chaz Mostert going through, and it's down to whether it's going to be Schumacher or Brown. Of course, we had the victory for Brown earlier on. It was by under 0.3 of a second, but look at what this means.
Yeah, it's getting closer and closer to the likelihood of getting an Aussie in the final, which will be very popular for this Sydney crowd.
So good to see Toby Price in animated conversation down there. Just the sheer enthusiasm for it as well, the weird matchups that you get, the strange matchups, but the great matchups as well. And now we've got a former Formula 3 champion, a former Formula 2 champion going up against the reigning Supercars champion. They are currently in the car change area. They are being prepared, and then they'll be waved onto the circuit as a result. So Schumacher currently plying his trade in the World Endurance Championship in WEC.
Yeah, so used to races that can last up to 24 hours rather than 1 minute. It's like the opposite of endurance, isn't it?
It really is. They're just holding at the moment. That is the race that we're going to have. And then it's going to be a really intense battle between Loeb and Oliver Solberg. And the winner of that will take on Mostert. And is it going to be Brown with another 2-0 win? We'll find out in a few moments. All smiles down there in the car change area. And those who are still competing, those who are no longer part of things. And we're just checking things out on the circuit. And we're rolling through with the KTMs. So they are finding themselves back in again. So clearly an issue down there as Sebastian Loeb continues on, and the barriers just being inspected. Oh, I've been in this situation before. Thrilling barrier repair chat. Thankfully interrupted. And we can hear from one of the stars of the show, Chaz Mostert.
Chaz, before you went out then, I asked you if you were happy with the cars you'd been given. You said, I'm up against a 4-time F1 world champion in Sebastian Vettel. You just beat him twice.
Yeah, I still can't believe it. But to be honest, I just having so much fun out there, and the track's been like getting faster and faster and a lot more grippier. I was dreading coming into today in the rallycross and the super light. I haven't had a lot of four-wheel drive experience, but now they've ended up being two of my favorite cars. It's been a lot of fun. The jump is insane. I've never ever had a car other than Gold Coast in a supercar off the ground before, so it's been really cool. I'm absolutely blown away to make it to the semis. So yeah, any time you get to race guys like Valtteri Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, Kurt Busch, it's an absolute honour. So yeah, we'll see how we go in the next time. This has really blown my expectations out of the water. Well,
you could be going up against Will Brown, so you know him pretty well.
Yeah, look, Will's probably got lately probably a few more on me over the last races, but I don't know. I'll talk to him if he wins this. I'll talk to him in the waiting area, and I'll start playing my Aussie mind games. We'll see what happens.
Can't wait to see it, Chaz. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Keep it coming.
Thanks very much.
Love it.
You have to love it. Fantastic stuff.
Aussie mind
crowd
games.
Favorite.
Yeah.
And just the names that he listed there.
Yeah.
And you could see the pride in his performance. And then it might be one of his usual colleagues blocking the way. Mick Schumacher's going to have something to say about that in the next race. As we look at the Solbergs still in conversation, Petter and son Oliver.
It's an interesting, just to the left of on our screen was Johan Kristoffersson talking to Victor Martins. I think they've both got a very similar professorial, analytical approach to racing, and I think they probably would never have met and chatted and compared notes like they have been able to here at Race of Champions.
Yeah, very good point. It's the combinations that make this such a great event as we await a crucial final in the quarterfinals. Our last one, Mick Schumacher needing the win. Otherwise, it is going to be progression for Brown, and Will Brown will be taking his place up against his countrymen in the semi-final.
If any of this tournament structure is in any way confusing, all you need to do is see who's still in a race suit. They're probably still going to be racing. If they've changed into civvies, then they are playing no further part in this event.
Well, it's getting really serious now as we come to what could be the end of the quarterfinals, and they have all so far been 2-0 victories. Can Mick Schumacher change that narrative? Before we get to the race, let's hear from the star of the show yesterday, Victor Martins, speaking to Rosanna.
Victor, huge congratulations again for last night. You were sublime for Team France. It's been a little different this evening, but how much have you enjoyed your experience here at the Rock Sydney?
Yeah, it was great, honestly. You know, being the winner yesterday at the Nations Cup with Seb Loeb was a big night, you know, a big thing for also in my career, actually, to do it with him, you know, like a big honor to be his teammates. I think I learned quite a lot of things, you know, from him. And now I think, you know, it's like great to be here, being in Sydney. I have the race next week in Melbourne, so it's a good warm-up, testing many cars and having fun, of course. Like, it's the first and most important thing, I think, being here, sharing good moments with the guys also. I think, no, thanks to the Race of Champions, Jesse and Frederic, and I will have to come back because today I didn't go through to the quarterfinal, but yeah, it's like this.
You've got to come back. You've got to defend that Rock Nations Cup title. You say that Sebastian Loeb's been teaching you things. Did he teach you a backflip last night, or have you always had that in your locker, Victor?
No, I think we planned it and we did it, you know, like, I think in the morning we were like, we know that we did gymnastics in the past when we were younger, and we were like, if we win it, we need to do it. And then we look at each other and we were like, where do we do it? On the stand, on the floor? And then we said on the floor because it was raining and quite slippery, but no, it didn't taught me that. We said to each other, are you okay? Do you still can do it? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. So.
It was perfect, perfectly choreographed and perfectly raced yesterday. Great to have you here at the Rock.
Thank you very much, thank you.
So I wonder what the judges at the 2000 Olympics here in Sydney would have given those backflips in the gymnastics, which wouldn't have taken place in this stadium, but were spectacular nonetheless. What a great sport Victor Martins is, with a great future ahead of him.
He is hoping to take the Formula 2 championship in his third year of competition. Officials currently in position.
Looks like there may be a problem with the car on the left, the orange car.
Yeah, Will Brown has been waving from behind the wheel there. The driver making his debut is still waving the hands. And these different cars have, of course, different operating procedures. The driver's it's about engaging the launch control in the right way. There's a button that you have to press, a sequence that you have to go through, and obviously you can see the toggles there. The map that you're in is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, it's a complicated thing to get off the start line efficiently. So, and he will have been taught this, and he'll be familiar with it from the practice and from yesterday. But of course, quite wise to get it checked before you go green.
So we've had the pause And now this is so important. Mick Schumacher versus Will Brown. Will Brown is 1 up. Are we going to need a decider? Will it be another 2-0 win as it has been in the other 3 quarter-finals? Mick Schumacher versus Will Brown. Will Brown in the orange car in your picture.
It's quite a sizable jump from Mick over the bridge. He landed quite nose heavy, but it didn't seem to do him any harm. Let's see if it did the timing screens any harm.
It looks like it's been a strong start to this crucial race for Mick Schumacher, who has the advantage when he cuts the beam under the arch. It doesn't seem that Will Brown had the first half of the race that he was looking for. Can he change it? No! That's unbelievable! I took a step back from the screen. That is epic stuff from Will Brown, because he knew that Schumacher had the advantage, but he went all in, and he's had amazing speed. It might be speed that carries him all the way to the semi-finals, to the delight of the crowd. And that massive air books his place in the semi-final, and we will have an Aussie in the final as a result of Will Brown taking the win.
Yeah, earlier on in that race, he looked tentative because those cars really require being thrown around sideways. Four-wheel drift is the way to handle these, but that second lap came out of nowhere for Will Brown.
Again, the reference are there, just having a look. There's the clip of the barrier. It's been awarded to Will Brown. You get 1 tap. Look at this. Will Brown Airlines.
I love the fact he's already braking and turning for the corner because he can see how far he's flown.
Do you think the passenger halfway through was like, this is a great idea about 50 seconds ago? And look at that, full commitment from both around the final corner. And that was superb. Yes, it really was that exciting. Will Brown in conversation with Mick Schumacher. And no wonder he's delighted. It's going to be an all-Aussie Supercars semi-final on one half of the draw. Loeb versus Solberg in the other half. That is going to be mighty.
Yep, we will definitely have an Aussie in the final, but which one will it be?
It's going to be a great contest between those two. I think we might see some deciders coming your way. What a couple of semi-finals that we've got coming your way in a few moments' time. So Loeb and Solberg finding themselves on the off-road side, and for the circuit racers, Mostert and Brown, the home favourites, and they have been very, very impressive as we have another look. All aboard the airline.
I love that jump.
Okay, let's hear from another supercar star. This is Brody Kostecki.
Brody, you were watching that last race. Will Brown getting some serious air. I didn't know you supercar guys could do that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to actually jump across to the other lane and skip half the circuit. That's what it looked like, but really impressive. Great to see that we're going to have an Aussie in the final. So kudos to those guys. Have done an awesome job, and it's been such an amazing event to be a part of, and hopefully I get the chance to come back.
Oh, I'm sure the organisers want that. Of course, last night you were partnering with Will. You guys go way back. Of course, you were teammates a couple of years ago. What was the Rock Nations Cup like? Because standing on the podium alongside someone like Seb Loeb, I mean, wow, goosebumps, right?
I know, I honestly still get tingles thinking about it. So it's such a fantastic experience, and to come home second, we were just glad to make it out of the first round, but to go all the way to the final was absolutely awesome. So hopefully an Aussie can win the final again today, and I'll run half a lap of the track.
Whoa, that is a promise.
Yeah, well, we got so much, obviously support here being home in Sydney. So thanks to everyone that's been tuning in and that's come out to support. It's been a fantastic crowd. So yeah, I'll go do it and wave, and I won't run that fast, but I'll run.
They'll be able to keep up with you for the autographs. And of course, you guys move to Melbourne next weekend as well. This has been a nice little warm-up as well for the second round of your Supercar Championship.
Oh yeah, it's been a great warm-up. I hope I'm not flying at the Melbourne Grand Prix, but yeah, really excited to get back behind the wheel of my Shell V-Power Mustang and see my team again. So it's been a rough few days with the cyclones up north in Queensland, so I hope everyone's staying safe back at home, and yeah, look forward to doing this event again soon, sometime, and can't wait to get back behind the wheel of my supercar.
Well, last night, do tell us, what were the celebrations like? Because I did see a picture of you guys in a limo with Team France. Were they wild, or did you keep it on the straight and narrow?
Oh, they were very, very straight and narrow, but yeah, we had a bit of fun last night. We got access to a few hotel rooms and tried to wake some drivers up, so we were doing everything. So fortunately, I got knocked out straight away, so it didn't really work, but Will and Chaz, you know, are going to have a crack now, and yeah, we'll see who gets through.
I'll let you enjoy the action. Thanks so much, Brodie.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Great to hear from Brodie.
And the drivers partying is legendary. Michael Schumacher used to be the sort of ringleader of a lot of the parties. Also Tom Christensen. DC's not bad. Travis Pastrana, I remember a year in Dusseldorf where the party involved ripping sleeves and trouser legs off and wearing them as headbands. So those are legendary moments in history. But legendary names that we've seen tonight that are not going to take any further part. Kristoffersen, Taylor, Pastrana, Kovalainen, Petter Solberg, Toby Price, Hayden Paddon, they've all gone out. Sebastian Vettel's gone out. Mick Schumacher's gone out. Coulthard's gone out. And promising star Victor Martins has gone out. Incredible.
It's been unbelievably competitive. Well, we have reached the semi-final stage, and we will see Oliver Solberg take on Sebastian Loeb, both with rally pedigree, and Oliver Solberg competing for Sweden tonight. And he was bemoaning in the press conference at the start of the week that he never seems to go well when representing Sweden. Well, that has changed tonight. He is 2 wins away. That's what you require, 2 wins from being able to take your place in the final. But for Solberg, standing in front of him, this man. A 4-time Race of Champions winner, trying to be the champion of champions for a record-breaking 5th time tonight. And Solberg, who was tipped early on by Travis Pastrana, and here we've seen why.
In the Subaru Blue, which used to be adorned with the Solberg name with a P in front of it, now has an O in front of it. Up against Petter's old rival, Sebastian Loeb.
Here we go for the first race in the first semi-final. The Subaru's on the track. Loeb versus Oliver Solberg. What a great camera angle this is. The corner before the bridge. Then we're dart to the left. And it gets very, very tight for Sebastian Loeb. Looking at him rotate round the outer loop. And now applying the power for Loeb, who has the advantage, but is it by enough? I think that's very, very tight. It's in the balance to take the first win in the first semi-final.
Whoever crosses the line first will be able to hear the crowd very clearly because of the quiet road car engines that they've got in these Subaru BRZ TSs.
Sebastian Loeb on the tighter inside line. More speed at this stage for Solberg. It's going to be tight, but it's going to be Loeb once again. Undefeated tonight, and it continues. Loeb taking the win, the smile on his face, and he's gone 1 up in the semi-final.
Can Sebastian Loeb break the Race of Champions record and become champion of champions for a 5th time? Didier Auriol has done it 4 times, he's done it 4 times, and Matthias Ekstrom has done it 4 times, but no one has been champion of champions 5 times. Hotly tipped Oliver Solberg can come back from this, but he needs to win both of these matchups that will come later in the show.
Around the final corner, on the way to victory, Sebastian Loeb setting off the fire across the line and bringing the fire on the racetrack. He's looked like a man on the mission from the word go. The debrief begins. And all very good-natured, but there's a competitive steel underneath as well.
We literally followed Sebastian Loeb from getting out of the Subaru and straight into the KTM Crossbow. That's how active they are, and that's how quickly they have to adapt. Oliver Solberg checking the tyre temperature to make sure that there's parity between the two.
They do have the option with the KTMs of a tyre warm-up lap if the driver says there's a difference between the two. I don't even think he knew the camera was on him. That would have happened regardless of whether we were watching on down in the car change area. Petter Solberg, used to winning the Nations Cup. He's done it on 2 occasions. Victor Martins, who did it for the first time in his Race of Champions career last night. Louis Sharp down there, trying to tap into all the knowledge that he's been racing against.
Now we've got a roll cage of a Polaris Pro R wrapped around Mozzie.
We are primed and ready to send the Supercars stars onto the circuit. So they've been sat there in the tunnel for a while underneath the eaves of the grandstand, waiting for their invitation onto the circuit. We're just holding for the moment, the tension building all the while. A reminder for you, it's best of 3, it's first to 2 to book your place in the final at Vantage Loeb after an excellent performance. And we're looking on at Chaz Mostert, who has a great record in supercars, has pedigree and victory when it comes to the Bathurst 1000 as well. And that is the look just behind the racetrack, just off. This is the first time motorsport has ever been held in this arena of any description.
Yeah, so when the, is it the Rabbitohs who play here next, when the grass is revealed? You know, sometimes you watch a football match or and it's been used for rugby or NFL, and you can still see the markings. I wonder what the markings will be like left on the grass. Hopefully not too much from this tarmac, but what a way to welcome us and to allow us to build this track inside the stadium for the first time ever in this stadium, for the first time ever in Australia, first time ever Race of Champions has come to the Southern Hemisphere. We've been to Bangkok, we've been to Beijing, but we've never been to Australia.
Let's hear from Louis Sharp now in the car change area.
Louis, you've been the youngest driver on the grid, so to speak, this weekend. What has it been like racing against the likes of Sebastian Vettel, for example?
It's been absolutely amazing. No, a huge privilege to be here. A big thank you to Frederick and the whole of the Race of Champions people. So it's amazing. It's a great opportunity. Vettel was my hero, basically. He still is. He was the guy that got me into motorsport. So no, to be going up against him tonight was pretty special. And it's definitely been a night to remember. It's been a lot of fun.
Drivers like Heikki Kovalainen, who've been racing here this weekend, launched their careers through Race of Champions. You don't really need to launch your career because you're well on the way, but how important is it to show people what you're made of?
I think it's super important. Obviously, there's nowhere else in the world you'll find the top drivers from different forms of motorsport all come together to race each other. So it's a pretty spectacular thing. It's super tough though, as you can imagine. It's such a different event to anything I guess myself or maybe some other people would have ever done. But yeah, like I said, it's been such a blast. I've had so much fun. It's definitely been the most fun I've ever had in a race weekend. So it's been like I said, it's been a huge privilege. I can't thank everyone enough for inviting me here.
Of course, tonight was every man for himself, every woman for herself. Yesterday, you were teaming up with Hayden Paddon for Team New Zealand. You co-drove for Hayden back in the day when you were 12, which feels probably like last week. What was it like partnering him with Team New Zealand this weekend?
Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously, he's an amazing driver, as everyone knows. So to be his teammate, it's been amazing. We both, I think, would have liked to gone a little bit further. I mean, we did get through, but out of the first round, but that didn't go quite much further than that. But I think both of us were a little bit maybe unfortunate with the cars that we got. So next year, hopefully, we'll both be back and see if we can make a better run for it. But like you said, when I was 12, I was his co-driver. It was a sprint, so I didn't necessarily do much. I kind of just sat there and held on, really, just closed my eyes. But no, to have done that with him, and then these years later to now be teammates with him, it's really a dream come true.
Enjoy the rest of the action, Louis. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
What an experience for Louis Sharp, who will be racing in Melbourne in a week's time.
I love the fact that the passenger seat in the Polaris Pro R has a hold-on bar, which so it's like a roller coaster ride in many ways.
So we're hearing the previous race is under review. for a second tap of the barrier. Remember, we saw Brown looking very, very racy out there, very, very aggressive. They're just reviewing whether he tapped the barrier. So obviously there. Obviously he tapped the barrier.
So if that was the only time, that would be a warning. But
That
if
would
he
be a
does do
warning.
it again, it's 5 seconds.
And so does he do so again? We're looking at the orange card. Does he clip the barrier? Would be a 5-second penalty if he does so. Oh, I think he's got away with that one. Judged to perfection. With my eyes.
Yeah, but I think they have to look at all the angles to make sure there wasn't another touch anywhere around the track.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, there was a cheer and a bit of a celebration. Well, I've never seen that before.
No.
Drivers celebrating on the start line before the race has begun. But it confirms Will Brown's place in this contest. He's been confirmed in the race. He's now racing. It's all up for grabs. This all-Aussie semi-final. Chaz Mostert versus Will Brown.
You do get the sense that might have got into his head a little bit because he was very tentative off the start. He's clipped a barrier on the inside before the bridge. So maybe that slightly rattled Will.
Well, they were waiting for an awfully long time reviewing that, but they had to go through all of the angles. Across the line we go. Chaz Mostert with an enormous lead at this stage. And I think it's going to be hard to come back in the Polaris. You're not going to get the same purchase on the jump. Let's see. It's a spectacular sight. But can Will Brown find the answer? Sometimes when you see the reference of having a lead early on, you tighten up behind the wheel. And it looks like it's been a much better second part of this lap. It's going to be really tight between the two of them. But Mostert is celebrating across the line as the winner. Brown came back with a vengeance there, but not by enough. And it's Chaz Mostert who goes 1-0 up.
Yeah, I do wonder if that sort of steward's inquiry, because the problem is if you're Will, then it's a question of whether you're going to race or not. That's the key thing. This could get you out of the car and back in another car to replay a heat or to be eliminated. So he had to really apply race driver mode to shut all that out and get in the zone, and he did that extremely well. Speaking to the people who prepare these Polaris Pro Rs, because they've got these smaller Pirelli wheels than they used to for when they're rock crawling and flying through the deserts, they've actually never felt them as quick as they are.
Yes.
They're much quicker with the smaller wheels, so absolutely demonstrated expertly by our two Aussie drivers there.
Excellent stuff. And it is advantage to Mozzie. Well, great to see Mostert and Brown in conversation.
Is this the Aussie mind games he was talking about earlier? Or just physical violence?
Physical violence, I was going to say.
I think it's the latter.
Well, he's 1 up, and he's got a great opportunity if he can take the next race. We're now going to hear from Toby Price down in the car change area.
Toby, your compatriots are putting on a show this evening. Who do you reckon is going to make it through to the final?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard between Chaz and Will. Both the boys are doing amazing at the moment. So I wish both of them could go through. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It's going to be coming down to the wire. I think it's been down to the wire the whole night. So yeah, unfortunately we didn't make it through. But we had some stiff competition there, and yeah, we had a great time. We had a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you to all the fans for coming along and cheering us on. It really means a lot. And it's cool to bring this atmosphere inside a stadium, so it's been a great time.
Any chance of you switching to asphalt, or are you sticking to the rough stuff?
I think I'll stick to the rough stuff, I think. So, yeah, I'm used to the open desert, but, yeah, look, I think I feel like I held my own a little bit, but as we are racers, we want to win, and, yeah, when you fall short of that, you're a bit upset. But it's, no, it's been a great time, great experience. Thank you to everyone at Race of Champions for bringing us along. It's been, yeah, a night to remember, and to be racing against Loeb and Schumacher and Vettel, all them guys, and yeah, and now supporting to the Aussies. Come on, boys, get it done. And, yeah, cheer them on, guys. Keep them going.
Toby, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Will do, for sure. Thank you very much.
Great to hear from Toby, who has really enjoyed himself in the Race of Champions.
During that interview, we saw a clip of him getting air in the Polaris Pro R, and it's the kind of kit he's much more used to, and that particular vehicle is much more used to being off-road. But it's got such good rebound. You saw when it landed, just the compression on the suspension means it's a very, very soft landing. I can't repeat it on air, but that car has a button that you press that just turns everything crazy, and it has the official name is a rude name, which I can't say what it is, but it has a very unique setup, and you can adjust it from comfort mode to the mode I was just mentioning. But now we're moving on to, so they're in the FC2s, which is the kind of upcycled, the bigger, beefier version of the supercar light that we also see here this weekend. But we also caught a glimpse of the KTM Crossbow as well. Yes. So I think Oliver Solberg and Sebastian Loeb will be racing each other in the KTMs.
Yeah.
And Mostert and Brown will be racing each other in the FC2s, the powerful 550 brake horsepower, four-wheel drive rallycross beasts. It's a great view. So that the KTM Crossbow has the kind of an Audi engine. It's got Dallara heritage, and of course all the heritage of KTM as a hugely successful motorbike racing manufacturer.
Well, now it gets so important between Solberg and Loeb. Now in the KTM Crossbows, now doing their final burnouts to the line. Loeb with the advantage earlier on, having taken victory in the first semi-final. If he does so again, he will have the chance to fight for a 5th Race of Champions trophy. He's already got 4 of them on the mantelpiece. The mantelpiece is it's going to be a museum.
It's going to be a big room
for Sebastian Loeb, given his success in motorsport. Solberg needs the win. The reds begin to rise, and we go racing in this so important second race of the first semi-final. Loeb in the orange KTM. Solberg making his way through the chicane that has been reinstalled on the bridge. These cars require the chicane on the bridge, and Solberg requires the victory. He has the advantage on the outer lane. Is it by enough? It's going to be tight, this one. It is all in the balance. Heading into the final 500 meters of the race, you can hear the tyres screaming. These are rally boys at heart, and it doesn't matter that they're racing KTMs that usually require a little bit more precision. They are ragging them out there. Loeb trying to get to the final. Solberg trying to take it to a decider. But here comes Sebastian Loeb, who is applying the power all the way to the final. He's taken his 2nd win in the semi, and he will fight for a 5th trophy in the Race of Champions.
And you can see just how much Oliver wanted that. He knew he was behind. He hit the barrier on the outside of the final corner, just trying to get a little bit of extra grunt out of the KTM Crossbow. And a lovely moment here in the stadium. He's taking the applaud of the crowd. One of the advantages of an open cockpit car is you can stand up in it and everyone can see you waving. It's over. Valiant in defeat, Oliver Solberg, but dominant again, Sebastian Loeb. Wow. Can he do it?
Well, he has looked imperious. He has looked so good. Loeb.
Germany 2008 in Wembley. 2008 in Wembley isn't in Germany, Neil. Wembley Stadium 2008 was the last time Sebastian Loeb won, before he won it in Sweden in 2022.
Yeah, so on the snow and the ice. It hasn't been that long, but in a stadium setting like this, it has been a while for the 9-time World Rally Champion. And Loeb has looked just mighty all the way through the evening as the Solbergs continue to chat.
Commiserations to Ollie, what a great sport.
Yeah, Great form.
And he can refocus now on the next round of the WRC, going to Mexico, I think. No, Safari Rally Kenya next. But rally fans of a certain vintage will know the rivalry between Loeb and Solberg, and it's great to see it's transcended the generations and continues.
So the all-supercar battle to take on Sebastian Loeb for the right to call yourself the champion of champions. It is advantage Chaz Mostert after the first semi-final. He won it by under 0.2 of a second.
And they're in supercars of a very different pedigree.
Red light on, green light on, game on. And this is a crucial one for Will Brown if he's going to take it to a decider. They've all been 2-0 since we reached the knockout stage. Big air! And can he keep it out of the wall? He can, Will Brown. Going maximum attack, and he needs to.
I think there was a little dab on the bar, the handbrake there to get it around the corner after the jump, which is really applying your rallycross skills. There was a nudge of a barrier on the inside. We'll have to keep an eye for another nudge.
Yeah, another nudge would be a penalty, and it would effectively be throwing it away. And you can see there, oh my word, it's been aggressive.
They both pressed the send button in this race.
Delightful to see. Crowd responding to it. Chaz Mostert took the first one. Mostert's trying to come back here and book his place in the final across the line. And the crowd are cheering because they've got an Aussie in the final. And Chaz Mostert has done the business. He's taken the checkered flag, and even though it was super aggressive from Will Brown, Mozzie is going to take on Sebastian Loeb for the right to call himself the champion of champions.
Tyre smoke off the supercars, they launch off the line. All that 550 brake horsepower evenly spread. And look at that, if you look, I think he grabs for the handbrake to get it turned and stopped. He certainly scrabbled for something.
It's huge aggression, and then it was matched by Mostert. Oh, brilliant, the supercar boys.
And there was another touch as well, so I think if that had gone to the stewards...
It would have been by default in the end, but Mostert had done enough. And the reigning Supercars champion will not add the Race of Champions individual crown to his trophy collection, but the crowd really enjoyed that all-Aussie battle here at the Accor Stadium.
The fans here, loving every moment, breathing every single moment, and they've never got to see anything like this in a stadium like this in Sydney. So it's a unique opportunity for them to enjoy it, have a family occasion, and look, that's how we got to where we are. Loeb versus Mostert in the final.
Well, great semi-finals, but remarkably, we've gone all the way through the quarters and all the way through the semis without requiring a deciding race. Incredible. So many deciders yesterday in the Nations Cup, but today we have had efficiency on the way through. 2-0 wins all the way to the final.
That's almost unheard of.
Very, very unusual. Oliver Solberg has been terrific tonight. I want to get his thoughts downstairs with Rosanna.
Oliver, I know you wanted to go all the way this evening, but how tough was that one, missing out to Sebastian Loeb?
Well, it's Sebastian Loeb, but yeah, I feel we had a good chance today. I was trying really, really hard, and well, I am gutted, to be honest, because I felt I had the chance now to come, but yeah, it's the two cars maybe I like the least, and yeah, I need to get better when it comes to the driving style with these kind of cars too. I'm too sideways, So I did a few mistakes on the last one, and that cost me the win on the last one. But yeah, Loeb is so good, he is the best. So yeah, it's cool to race against him again in the semi-final. But yeah, no, it's been a fantastic weekend. Really a great time in Australia, and yeah, really big thanks to ROC for giving me the chance one more time. So it's been an incredible weekend, but yeah, just bummed,
Oliver, never apologise for going sideways. You put on such a show for the fans here. They've been incredible too. They've loved what you've been doing on track.
I have to say, it's the first time to be on the stadium for me on a race, and the atmosphere today here in the Accor Stadium with all the Australian fans has been unbelievable. And yeah, for me, the really cool place, and yeah, really a lot of passion around. So it's fantastic to race.
How quickly are you getting on that flight to Kenya? Because of course WRC continues.
Yeah, no, it's another week away. So now I'll have a beer tonight, relax, and yeah, I've been pretty happy with everything anyway. But yeah, for sure, there's work to do for the next Race of Champions for next year. But yeah, now we're just gonna relax another week here in Australia and then go to Kenya.
And finally, in the press conference before this event, you told me you hadn't had much success racing under the Swedish flag. Pretty good now, right?
It was okay. Not very happy. Still, you know, I want to win. But after a disaster yesterday for Team Norway, at least a little bit better for Sweden today. But yeah, we definitely have work to do.
Thank you, Oliver.
Thank you. Thank you.
He's been terrific behind the wheel tonight, and he has been very, very impressive. We talked about the allocation of cars and how that could decide things. All the drivers are acutely aware that that can sometimes be the difference. When you've got such a talented field, when you've got so many in this contest with so many titles, if you get a car that's not quite to your liking, then it can make the difference. And he didn't miss out by much, but he did well to make the semi-finals. Well, it's been spectacular stuff. Don't just take my word for it. We have been running an air show as well as the Race of Champions. Formation flying. Mostert was the first car in your picture. Sebastian Loeb not feeling the need to go as far. But you were talking about the assessment that he will have made about how much air he needs to take.
Especially in the rallycross cars, the supercar lights like this one and the FC2, because it's four-wheel drive, the more time you're in the air, the less horsepower is being applied rubber to tarmac. So he has assessed exactly how much speed you need and how far you need to jump to make sure that all four wheels are in contact with the car as soon as possible. So yes, we've seen some races won by an absolute power jump, full send, but I think for Sebastian Loeb, he knows precisely where he needs to land that car for maximum efficiency. Can he apply that in the final?
And then there were two. It has been such a talented field. So many titles, so many trophies, and now it comes down to Mostert versus Loeb. The time to suit up again is now, and they will apply the balaclava, the hands device, the crash helmet, and get going once again behind the wheel. We'll get to find out what we've got for the final.
And that's the trophy that it is all to play for. The names on that list, some ridiculous names, all the way back to Juha Kankkunen, Stig Blomqvist, Didier Auriol, Francois Delacour, in the early days in Gran Canaria when it was a largely off-road rally driver event, and then it became something that everybody wanted to get on board with. And after the era of Gronholm, Rovanperä and Mäkinen, when the Finns were dominating, then it became a mixture of circuit racers and rally drivers competing to be champion of champions. But, you know, we've seen it before. Debutantes winning, Benito Guerra, Heikki Kovalainen, Felipe Albuquerque, and the people who do Race of Champions for the first time kind of launch themselves onto the world stage. And is that going to be what we're going to see from Mozzie tonight?
Let's hear from Johan Kristoffersson now.
Johan, we haven't seen very much of your talent this evening. You went out so early. How has the competition been for you here in Sydney?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, super happy to be here. I mean, Race of Champions, great event again. And yeah, Sydney, all the fans out here are so amazing. So happy to be here. And yeah, it was a bit short for me this year, but Molly had a good run and lost out against Molly. So yeah, that's how it is. It's super tough. And the only thing that made it to the final this year is my gloves, as Chas is using them. So from my teammate yesterday, I just have to share for him.
I saw that. He was just checking. Is it okay, mate, if I take your gloves?
Yeah, sure, yeah. He used them since yesterday, so I hope he will, yeah, make them really fast in the final.
Love that. But it's so great, isn't it? There's so much banter behind the scenes. Of course, former teammates, you and Molly were teammates. There's a bit of a grudge match there. So it's great to catch up with people from other disciplines, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so great to be out here every time to meet all the other category drivers and so. But you know, before the racing, everyone is cheering on and so happy. And you know, in the individual heats, people are knocked out so quickly. And the atmosphere in the locker room changed pretty quickly. Just after the first knockout, everyone is so like bummed that it didn't go through. But at the same time, you know, after 10-15 minutes, you know, that's how it is. There's no easy rounds, and yeah, people are getting knocked out. So now we just have to cheer for our friends in the final.
So cheering for Sebastian Loeb, not for your gloves on Chaz Mostert's hands.
I don't know. It's a tough one to choose in between them, but I mean, to have a first win for Chaz as a newbie into a Race of Champions in home soil, for sure would have been super cool. He's up against, yeah, one of the best drivers in the world, so it's going to be a tough one, but we'll see. I will root for both of them.
Grab your popcorn, Johan. This is going to be a good one.
Definitely.
Now that's kudos when one of the best drivers in the world calls you out as one of the best drivers in the world.
Yeah.
Love that. Pulling the classic tightening of the belts. just on the exit road from the car change area, the passengers already getting a roller coaster ride. The drivers did agree that they weren't going to do any tyre warming, and I think they've all been true to that friendly agreement.
So Sebastian Loeb bringing his Polaris to the line. And the crowd roaring. Chaz Mostert to his position.
Listen to that.
He's popular in these parts anyway, but he's geeing the crowd up from the Polaris. Taking the acknowledgement. Loeb and Mostert ready to do battle in our final. It's a two-time Bathurst 1000 winner up against a 9-time rally champion of the world. But now, at Accor Stadium, it is all on the line for the largest trophy of the event. Who is going to take the individual crown and the right to call themselves champion of champions? Red light on. It goes green, we go racing. Even start from both of them as the crowd roar on Mostert in the orange buggy, in the orange Polaris. No need for a chicane when you can get air like that. Loeb getting a great start. Mostert trying to stay with one of the all-time greats, trying to bring the crowd to their feet. It's been an absolutely electric getaway for Sebastian Loeb, who has a monster advantage as he cuts the beam.
There's plenty of things to think about when you're hammering these cars around this track, but one thing you don't have to worry about is changing gear. So that's all focus is on pointing the steering wheel in the right direction. They look like there was a touch on the inside there on the corner on the way in from Loeb, so he needs to keep it clean for the last sector of this race.
He is human. It happens occasionally, not very often. Mostert's had a fantastic final leg. It's in the mix. He got close. Loeb takes the win. Sebastian Loeb hangs on after brushing the barrier. Suddenly it became a contest, but it's a contest that he triumphs in, and he's taken the first race by 0.2 of a second. He's one win away from being a 5-time ROC champion.
Deep breath in for Sebastian Loeb. He's unflappable, that man, but he sometimes needs to breathe. I wonder if he's got time for a tiny espresso between climbing out of the Polaris and back into a FC2 rallycross car. Look at that, it's just the precision of the wheel, but yeah, I think that might have been where he clipped the barrier on the inside of the curve. But these are very narrow. There's a lot more tarmac when you're in the little Polaris. I mean, they're quite high up, but they're very narrow, so you do have a lot of the tarmac width of each lane to play with and positioning your car. So just enough time for rather than a kiss on the barrier, a kiss with the girlfriend.
background, having fun. We're having fun here in Sydney. He's nearly joined us up in the commentary box.
Yeah, come over here, Terry. Come and join us in commentary. The car's fine. Can't park there, but we'll just keep going until it runs out of gas or tyres, whichever.
He technically hasn't parked, such as his skill, leaving it running.
But
and he's high-fiving everyone. I think he drew the line at row 15. And now he's back. He's going to leap over the Tech Pro. He's been keeping the fans entertained all evening long.
He's a big help to the field as well. A lot of the rookies, the Rock debutants, will have had an avuncular Terry Grant guiding them through the process, helping them get in and out of the different cars, talking them around the track, which he helps to design. So as well as being a showman and an incredibly talented driver, there's a lot more to Terry Grant.
Yeah, he is an integral part of this event that's coming to a conclusion, with Chaz Mostert needing a victory to take us to a decider, or the Sebastian Loeb show continues with another trophy in his possession. Well, the crowd showing their appreciation, and rightly so. These three have entertained us all the way through the last couple of days. Will Brown is speaking to Rosanna Tennant down in the car change area.
Will, what an event you've been having. Wowee, how do you rate the Race of Champions?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've had a great time. That rally car was awesome. Made a few mistakes in that semi-final and didn't allow me to get through, but Chaz did a fantastic job. He's a great Aussie, and it's cool for an Aussie to be in the final. So congratulations to him. Hopefully he has a good run here. He's obviously up against Sebastian in some rally cars. It's going to be hard, but what an event this has been. It's been amazing to be part of it. The track's awesome. Having the jump in the rally cars is fantastic. So absolutely loved it.
First time that Race of Champions has gone to the Southern Hemisphere, so therefore first time in Australia. You guys probably want it back, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. I was hoping to get through to the final. I thought that might help my chances of coming back in the years coming. But yeah, it was just awesome. I had a great time with everyone. All the drives have been fantastic. The fans in the stadium have been going off, so that's awesome. But what an event.
And of course, Supercars continues in Melbourne. A little bit ahead of Chaz currently, but can you go and cheer him on this evening still?
Yeah, I'm heading out there now to cheer him on. Hopefully he has a good run in this one, and either way, it's cool for him to be in the final, and yeah, just really good.
Supercar boys putting on a show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
So he's right. He mentioned it, that Loeb in the rallycross car is a formidable thing to face, and that is what is coming up next for Chaz Mostert.
Yeah, Chaz Mostert knows that he needs one of the great performances of his career. We're talking about getting air at the circuits on the Gold Coast with the chicanes, and Loeb getting the last instructions.
From Eric Fahren, who's a very talented rallycross driver in his own right, and a spotter too.
Sebastian Loeb has the advantage in the final. Chaz Mostert is the driver that stands in his way. He has been on fire so far tonight, so plays a path to the final. But Loeb has looked in another league. Can Mostert do anything to change that narrative and to change the direction of travel for the trophy? It would be a record-breaking 5th win in the competition for the man who helped claim the Nations Cup last night with Victor Martins.
So these FC2 rallycross cars, 550 brake horsepower, they have a lot of excellent features: paddle shift, mid-engine, all-wheel drive, 2.3-litre turbo, which is the only car that's giving us that pop and bang that echoes around the stadium. But what they don't have is air conditioning. So you can see Kevin Eriksson and Eric Fahren wafting the doors backwards and forwards to make sure some air gets in the car, because as you can see, the sweat beading up on the brow.
Yeah, and
Doors
it's been
shut.
Intense work, hasn't it? Really intense work out there for the drivers. The expectations are rising, and the cars are heading to the circuit.
They're about 6 stories below us right now. That's where they're moving from there around to join the circuit.
And you'll hear the crowd when they do burst onto the racetrack. Sebastian Loeb is waiting. Chaz Mostert, who has tasted success in Bathurst, trying to take the crown in Sydney. The first time we have raced in Australia, the first time we have raced in the Southern Hemisphere. It has been a wonderful atmosphere last night and tonight. Victor Martins was part of that French national win in the Nations Cup. He's watching his teammate contest the final once again. Wonderful to see the solidarity between the drivers who have made their way from the viewing area to the grandstand to see it with their own eyes, having been part of a great festival of motor racing here.
Very interesting to see Sebastian Loeb sort of getting into the zone there. He was doing his race prep, he was going through the paddle shift to make sure the car was in the right setting, opened the door to let some air in, but then he did, you know, he took a moment. He knows he has to deliver. Look, he's doing it there. He's just getting himself settled, getting the heart rate down. Really good insight into the process of one of the all-time greats in pretty much any car you want to put him in.
He even considered Formula One at one point, around the 2008 mark.
Yeah, the super license was an issue.
Would have been with what was then the Toro Rosso team, but everything else, he has been absolutely mighty. The Aussies are laughing and looking on, with plenty taking opportunities. The reigning champion supercars taking selfies down there.
I think the guy with the headset on is the guy in charge of making those flames explode every time we get a finish. But he was just getting a chance to chat with one of his heroes.
Well, Sebastian Loeb has kept him very busy then after the last couple of nights. Pretty sharp there. Part of the festivities. For the first time, he was our youngest driver in the field, and he's loved the matchups. Other drivers now taking their place in the viewing area. Sebastian Vettel has come out to watch the final. Brought Mick Schumacher with him as well.
Yeah, we're getting most of the field are coming down to watch the final, which is nice.
Well, it's all built up to this. Chaz Mostert trying to take it to a decider, but it is going to be in an FC2 rally spec car, 500 brake horsepower, super light as well, under 1200 kg. And you would expect Sebastian Loeb to have the chance to make Race of Champions history. And lovely that we've got the drivers watching our final two. The crowd acclaiming the last two standing, Chaz Mostert and Sebastian Loeb. Chaz in the white FC2, the orange FC2 belonging to one of the greats, Sebastian Loeb.
Sebastian Loeb acting like he's at a rallycross track. There's a little bit of tyre cleaning, a little pre-launch that you normally do in the pre-grid area at a rallycross circuit. So he knows the best way to try and make his 1-0 advantage go a little bit further.
Brodie saying, give us a bit more. The crowd being whipped up.
And Terry Grant wearing his Aussie gold.
So heat 2 in the Rock final. Will it be Loeb and the title, or will it be Mostert to force a finale? We go racing. Good reaction time for both drivers. Chaz Mostert needs one of the best races and one of the best minutes of his career here. And he's going all in with maximum attack across the jump to take the race to Sebastian Loeb.
I think that's the only way he can do it. It has to be flat out, full send. And it looks like it's worked for the first half tour. Massive jump.
It really looks like it's worked. Win it or bin it stuff. As Brodie's on his feet, cheering on Chaz Mostert, who has now got to negotiate the tight and twisty stuff, where you know that Loeb has rotated the car to perfection when he made his journey through about 30 seconds ago. Who's it going to be? Into the final corners we come. It's much tighter than we might have anticipated. Who gets on the power? It's going to be Sebastian Loeb to take the race and the title for the 5th time. Sebastian Loeb is the never been before in the Race of Champions and stands alone as a 5-time winner. The crowd on their feet as their home hero does donuts, having made the final, and Sebastian Loeb climbs onto the car, the winner for the 5th time. Nations Cup last night. Individually, tonight's trophy belongs to him and just him.
It's a clean sweep of a weekend, isn't it? Take the big trophy last night, but then take the individual honors tonight.
The title that he first won back in 2003. In 2025, one of the all-time great motorsport careers has another trophy for the shelf, for the wing, for the museum. What a mighty performance from one of the great drivers, and what a performance from Chad Mostert. We were told by the Supercar boys, who are next door and have been enjoying this with us all week long, this guy is just super popular. When you hear him talk in interviews, you know why. He has been part of a brilliant spectacle. But Neil, it's as simple as this. Tonight, under the lights, there was no beating Loeb.
No, and we saw he was getting himself in the zone. And you know, there's business time. When you can see Loeb taking it that seriously. And he even went against the grain after this massive jump from Chaz. Even Loeb took a big air over the jump. He knew in that second lap, he could smell the trophy, so he knew he had to put an incredible effort in, which meant going big over the jump.
Look at this to the checkered flag. Brush of the barrier, but it's okay if you haven't done it before. And Chaz Mostert got close. But sometimes you're just up against Sebastian Loeb. And the winning story continues as we see the replay and the moment that we saw our first ever 5-time winner and the champion of champions. And he immediately bolted back to where he'd won it.
Beautiful. He first won in Gran Canaria in 2003 before he'd even been World Rally Champion.
Incredible.
He won his first title the following year.
Yeah.
So it kind of launched him internationally, as it then did for Heikki Kovalainen, but now so many trophies in his separate building, I imagine. Sebastian Loeb.
Let's go downstairs to the racetrack and hear from our new champion.
Sebastian, you are the champion of champions for the 5th time. That is an all-time record. Congratulations. How are you feeling right now?
I feel really happy and proud for that. It was an amazing weekend. We won the Nation Cup yesterday with Victor, who was amazingly fast. And today to be able to reach the final and to win it was just an amazing moment. Honestly, yesterday after the victory in Nation Cup, it was like a relief for me, and I said, tomorrow no pressure, just push, and it worked.
How much fun were you having out there? Because this stadium's been electric as well, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly. We hear the crowds, not in this car, but in the Polaris and the other car, we hear it during we drive, so it's an amazing atmosphere. I had some support from the public, I think, and so that was great.
You always know the competition is going to be fierce at Race of Champions, but how impressed have you been with the likes of the supercar guys as well?
Yeah, it was really impressive. This year it was really tight between the drivers, the supercar drivers, the racing drivers. It was some surprises, Molly beating Christopherson, so it was an amazing weekend, and yeah, we won at the end. That's the most important.
Enjoy the celebrations. Pleasure to watch you drive, Seb.
It is always a pleasure to watch him drive, and he's magnanimous in victory. But that's the point that you knew. It was all or nothing for Sebastian Loeb. He'd been taking that jump so carefully all the way through the evening, but he's gone for the inside line and landing it beautifully and just tweaking it through that left-hander. You wouldn't believe the speed that he just landed that car at, considering how neat and tidy he is around that. And that's the key to his many, many years of success, is the combination of flat-out attack, but with precision. It's been an absolute honor to shadow his career for 20 years. And he's getting his hat from his box.
Let's go back downstairs to the track and hear from Chaz Mostert.
Chaz, you weren't even meant to be here, and you have just played a huge part in the final against Sebastian Loeb. Wowee! How are you doing right now?
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. So, yeah, this is so unique to anything I've ever done before, such like a tight stadium circuit and with these rallycross cars and four-wheel drive cars and so many other different disciplines. But I've had an absolute ball. The goal was just to see if I could be lucky enough to get out of the first group, and I can't believe I made it all the way to the final, but I knew I was going to be up against it. You know, Seb Loeb, he's obviously one of the best race car drivers in the world, especially at this discipline as well. So I don't know how close that last one was, but I was pretty happy that it wasn't a straight length away. The Polaris was a lot of fun too, but he is one fantastic driver, and just absolutely honoured to be on the same tarmac with him tonight.
And of course, you've gone up against another Seb, Sebastian Vettel, this evening, and came off the winner. You must be so proud of yourself leaving Sydney this evening.
Yeah, look, it's obviously super stoked to be here. I must definitely say I have a bit of a heavy heart leaving home and my beautiful family. It was such a tough time with the cyclone coming through, but I just wanted to race really hard and make this trip worthwhile for them letting me come. So, yeah, we don't have any power at home at the moment. I can't get in communication with my family, but they're all safe. But yeah, everyone's doing it pretty tough in Queensland at the moment.
Well, hopefully they can watch it back. The people here were lucky enough to see you race this evening. They were on their feet. The crowd have been incredible, haven't they?
They've been awesome, and you know, a lot of us supercar drivers competed in this event, which was fantastic, and we really felt like we were the hometown favourites. So thank you so much to all the Aussie fans for coming out and making this event what it was. It was such a unique experience to have Rock in Sydney. We'd love to have it back, but I think there's a few other places that will probably have to go to before it comes back, but I hope I get an invite next year. We've been a lot of fun this year.
It's in the post already, Chaz. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done, that man. That was excellent stuff. High fives all round for Sebastian Loeb. He is celebrating, and he deserves every moment. That was absolute domination out there tonight, but he was really pushed. When you see how much air he was taking, what an absolute tribute to the driving performance of Chaz Mostert.
So first of all, we echo Chaz's best wishes for everyone who's being affected by the cyclone right now, which is
absolutely.
It's happening not far from here, so we hope everyone is safe. And just looking at the list of names on that trophy, Mattias Ekstrom, we send our best wishes to him as well, because he was supposed to be here. Chaz is only here because he was a replacement for Mattias Ekstrom, and Mattias Ekstrom is recovering and was not well enough to travel out and compete. So we send our best regards to Mattias, whose name is on that trophy 4 times, but now Sebastian Loeb is going to be on there 5 times.
Something for Ekstrom to aim at in the years to come, I'm sure. Absolutely, as you say, Neil, we wish him a speedy recovery. And we're making our way to the podium part of the day.
I wonder if Chaz has got any backflip game. Now I'd pay him good money to see Mozzie do a backflip.
Yeah, I think given how much they were sweating behind the wheel of the car, it's fairly unlikely, but never say never with the Race of Champions. Chaz Mostert has deserved this moment.
As I said before, we want all to have our winner back down under. He does it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, from France, Sebastian Loeb, your champion of champions, making his way to the podium.
Sebastian Loeb taking the cheers from the crowd. And there aren't many times where you're happy with second place, but I think this might qualify for Chaz Mostert, because when you're not meant to be part of the field and you end up dumping out a 4-time Formula One world champion, you know you've had a good evening in front of the crowd.
And on the world stage as well, everyone around the world will now know the name Chaz Mostert if they didn't already, because of his supercars prowess.
But our winner knows this feeling 4 times before, way back in 2003. This winning moment and trophy was first in his hands in 2025. For the 5th time, Sebastian Loeb is the champion of champions.
he'll be extremely proud of this win, and also it'll be a little reminder to him to keep the chin up, because he's still sort of battling in his Dacia Sandrider to try and get a cross-country rally raid win. So this will give him a little extra boost as his calendar continues this year.
Still competing, still fighting in every race. And in the mixture of the 6 cars that we had across the event, unbeatable once again. Great to see.
That's the so this event initially was founded in the memory of Henri Toivonen, and that is a very specific and poignant trophy that Sebastian Loeb has been presented with in memory of Henri Toivonen.
Great moment, and he knows the significance of that. Chaz has earned that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
He's earned a start.
I imagine he's probably quite thirsty as well after hot and heavy work in those cars in that final and the whole evening.
Well, they know this bit. Trying to get the cork to burst free. I don't know who originally started that, but Lando Norris likes that tactic. And it's
Chasing after Brody
versus Supercar still out on the track. Now Will Proud getting the treatment as well. Chaz is having a ball.
Drops his phone.
Drops his phone. Makes a jump over the Tech Pro. And it sums up the entertainment that the Supercar boys have brought all week long. Sebastian Loeb is celebrating on the main podium, and the Supercar trio are celebrating on the racetrack. Great scenes at the end of a great event. Shoeys, of course.
Shoey time.
Of course there are shoeys.
A three-way shoey. I don't know if you've seen that before.
You thought the Aussies were just going to end the evening without a shoey. Don't be daft.
Oh, chapeau, fellas.
All the way down. And they have been great. They have been absolutely excellent. And the crowd have backed them every inch of the way. All smiles. And Chaz has had the time of his life, hasn't he?
He has.
He's absolutely loved it.
And what a welcome addition to the stable they've all been. You know, we come to Australia, some Australian stars absolutely shine, both on the track and backstage. A very warm welcome, warm personalities. It's been great to be in Sydney.
Chaz has had to make his way back about 50 metres back to the podium. And the crowd are enjoying hearing from Chaz, hearing from Sebastian Loeb. And we're now going to hear from Frederick, speaking to Rosanna.
Frederick, what an event this has been. Australia and Sydney have loved it. I think people watching us around the world have loved it too. What an amazing event. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been amazing. I mean, so much close racing. Yesterday was amazing. Today was equally amazing. Chaz being so close to beating a 9-time World Rally champion. The excitement, the enthusiasm of the fans, absolutely extraordinary. But we also witnessed history here today. Sebastian Loeb winning the Champion of Champions title for the 5th time, record-breaking. And he's also, I think, the first driver ever to do the double, winning Rock Nations Cup and the individual Race of Champions the same year.
He's pretty special, isn't he, old Sebastian Loeb?
He ages very well, like a good French wine.
But it has been so fabulous, hasn't it? Seeing so many different disciplines brought together, racing on one track, equal machinery. That's what Race of Champions is all about, isn't it?
All about driver skill and who's got it on the day. And when you see total surprises, like Chaz Mostert got an invite last minute because Matthias Ekström unfortunately couldn't make it. And he goes all the way to the final, almost beats Sebastian Loeb. Totally amazing. Sending regards also to Matthias and to Max McRae. Late pull-ups. Hope you guys both recover very quickly. Oh, missing that. He's an exceptional athlete.
He certainly is.
I can remember seeing Sebastian Loeb doing that backflip when he won Rally Corsica. I think it was 2004.
He's the first one.
Well, we've seen it then and we've seen it tonight. Sebastian Loeb has done it again for the 5th time. My thanks to Neil. Great to be with you. Thanks to the whole broadcast team. We'll see you when the Race of Champions returns.